Yeah.
And now people will be able to hear me.
That's us.
Yes, ma'am.
That's us. In the chat.
Showtime.
Yeah.
I find it incredible, and I think it's definitely noteworthy information to put forth that all of this Israel-Iran stuff begins on Friday the 13th. That's absolutely symbolic and could have been guessed. And they're probably telling you that, yeah, Apophis is going to wipe out the planet.
I'm fine with that.
I think that's why they've pushed this idea of Apophis so much, and the date of Friday the 13th, because the astronomers, like the wise men in the Bible, knew that it was going to be Friday the 13th that Apophis would hit.
Hold on, I got to do something. Hello, Wookie.
I've come to the conclusion that I can do this. I can go, you know that chewy sound?
That could work too.
I can't do the grrr thing. That's you. Like, I can't do that.
Isn't there time ahead of us? I don't know.
Israel?
I don't know anything about anything anymore.
Adam Mulkler was live about a few hours ago, and it was like 10 something, I believe, Israel. 10:34 Israel time.
Yeah.
That's when the rockets were in the air, and they got the video of it, and Bibi Netanyahu says that there's more coming.
I think they're all idiots.
I think the Masons are doing exactly what they want to do right now.
Yes. And I think they're all idiots.
And they're sticking together.
To which they are idiots.
They're scum.
Idiot scum of the earth.
Yes.
And yeah, fuck them.
Do you remember that Rob Zombie song, Scum of the Earth?
No.
That's a great song. I believe it was on the MI2 soundtrack.
What was it?
Yeah. Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack, which was a very good soundtrack.
Hold on. I'm seeing something and I don't like it, and it's driving me nuts.
What's the matter?
It's the cropping of this. I must.
The window is cropped too heavily in widescreen.
In the bottom.
Yes.
The bottom portion.
We want to be able to see all of Voorhees.
That's right.
This is a very important subject matter that they popularize in pop culture, and then there's an actual big meaning to Friday the 13th over history, and now I believe they kicked this shit off with Israel and Iran on Friday the 13th.
Yep.
This is not a coincidence, sorry.
No.
NWO.
There, I fixed it. Because I'm that anally retentive.
I don't know.
Yeah. It is. Had to fix it. You know.
But you got to ask yourself why. It's always why. And I'm telling you that the reason, the why is because Netanyahu started a land grab.
Can we please start celebrating Friday the 13th? Yeah.
Play the video.
I am. I'm just waiting for you to, like...
Play the video. Go ahead.
No, finish your statement. You're just droning on, though, about it.
Fine, go ahead. Play the video.
All right. Okay.
As the only child of Pamela Voorhees and her husband, Elias. We know this because his mom says as much in the original Friday the 13th.
So, his father's name is Elias.
Where the hell did they tell us that Voorhees' dad's name was Elias? I don't remember that.
I don't know either.
Is that like
we'll find out.
Okay, cool.
Jason was my son, and today is his birthday.
And we know the year was 1946 from this American Case File broadcast.
Born in 1946 to Elias and Pamela Voorhees, Jason was believed to have...
Well, there you go. Elias and Pamela Voorhees. There you go. It's in canon.
Oh, okay. That's like a news broadcast that was in the movie? One of the movies?
I think so.
All right.
drowned in Camp Crystal Lake at the tender age of 11.
So Jason was born on a Saturday in universe, not a Friday, but more on that later. Now, it's a popular fan theory that Jason was born with a congenital condition called hydrocephalus, which caused him to have facial deformities. However, this is not a canonical fact from any Friday the 13th movie. It comes from this book.
I feel like I have hydrocephalus right now. I have like this dye in my eye. I got it from my fucking allergies, just rubbing my eye and shit, right? And it's annoying. And and my eye is swollen, and I don't like it. I don't like being swollen. I don't like that feeling. But we realized, like, maybe like 20 minutes ago that it is Friday the 13th, and I'm like, shit, it's Friday. I have to do Spooky Friday. So, I figured Friday the 13th was the way to go, being that it's Friday the 13th.
I just realized it. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Right? What's up, Deanne? How you doing, girl?
Hi, Deanne. It's like very interesting.
Yeah.
Timing.
Happy lucky number 13 to all the Wiccans. Thank you, Shannon, for saying that. Thank you.
No, seriously, like people don't understand that 13 actually is a lucky number because it represents the apostles plus Jesus.
That's true.
That it's a holy number, but of course the world turns it.
In Japan, they think 13 is lucky.
It is.
There you go.
It's a lucky number, but
yes, pagans unite because they're the only ones that actually care about the planet. Well, for the most part. I don't want to put anyone in a box, you know. Why is the microphones both covering our faces? So you don't know our identity, Irv. Don't you know that?
Well, I mean, we want to have pro audio, so we want to sound good, and we know this sounds good. I listened to it on my setup, and it sounds incredible. So
I know it sounds good.
It's a podcast.
Do you not like that? I don't know.
We're doing a podcast.
Yeah. Get your popcorn. We're talking about Friday the 13th.
See, I'm here. I do that, and then you see me.
Like Friday the 13th is kind of special to me, you know.
You see me.
Connections all around. All right.
You see me.
Book, Crystal Lake Memories, where special makeup effects artist Tom Savini describes his thought process when creating the look for Jason.
Tom Savini is just a god of movie horror makeup. Just a god. Like, he started when he was just a kid doing makeup.
I know.
And now he's like, everyone knows him.
Sex machine.
Yeah, he's a sex machine.
I absolutely love From Dusk Till Dawn. I fucking love that movie.
I love Tom Savini. I think he's great.
When I designed the look of Jason, I kept thinking of this guy I saw in my neighborhood when I was a kid. He had one eye and one ear that were lower than the other, like Quasimodo. Originally, we were thinking that Jason was going to have hair, but it just didn't look quite right. So we left him bald, as if he was like a hydrocephalus.
Was he like a thalidomide baby? Because that's how thalidomide babies look like.
What's thalidomide?
It was a drug. It was a drug they originally gave to women for anti-nausea, but it ended up having birth defects on the children.
Oh, wow.
Like severe ones.
That's horrible. No,
and
you're not blocked, Tina.
In about 20 years, they found out that thalidomide is a good cancer drug to help get rid of cancer for like blood cancers, Lou Gehrig's is disease and stuff like that.
Lou Gehrig's disease.
Lou Gehrig's disease. Thank you. Yeah. Why I know this is because I was talking to UNC doctors at the time, because my mother-in-law was going through cancer treatment. God rest her soul.
Cephalic mongoloid pinhead or something. I also gave him more of a dome head for the final makeup. And we just went with that. We didn't do any tests or mock-ups at all. And that's been the look of Jason ever since. Hydrocephalus is a condition where fluid accumulates in the brain while a baby is in utero, leading to increased pressure and potential damage. But since there's no mention of this in the movies, it's up to you if you want to accept this explanation. However, he definitely did have facial deformities. He walked with a limp, and he was bullied as a result. Jason grew up in a large...
Kids can be so fucking mean and cruel.
In my school, that really wasn't allowed much. Like,
I would never allow that in my school, man.
If a kid had a malady, they usually got a crew fast around them.
That's awesome.
Which is really good.
That's awesome.
And just encourage them and treat them like they don't have a disease.
It went back. Maybe they're blowing the satellites up and not telling us.
Probably.
Off the beaten path home in Crystal Lake, New Jersey. His parents didn't seem to be particularly smart. I mean, they misspelled...
Fictional, listen. Deanne's talked to my own son, and he didn't even call us that. Oh my God. So, I think my son has a lot more say over his parenting and how he was parented than you do. Have a nice day.
Their own last name on the mailbox, but it seems like they did at least have the common sense to keep Jason isolated from the kids that would most likely torture him. For example, they installed playground equipment in the front yard, which we can assume was a measure to keep him out of the public eye. It's also implied that he was homeschooled. But they could not hide their son from the world forever, especially after Elias abandoned the family for unknown reasons. Pamela would have to find a way to balance...
Probably for the drink and another woman.
I think that it's interesting and pretty neat that we're getting more lore on his father.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about Voorhees' dad.
No, but maybe they could do like a prequel and do one about... Ooh, we could write a script.
Oh, man, like where Elias is the killer.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's how have they not done that already?
Before Jason.
Elias is a killer. You'd write that.
earning her own income and watching over
That's
Jason
cool.
to make sure
That's
that he
a
stayed
great
out of
idea.
trouble. On
That's
June
a very
13th,
solid
1957,
idea.
Jason turned 11 years old, and it was time for him to interact with some other kids and join the real world. Pamela's solution was to get a job as a cook at the local summer camp at the nearby Camp Crystal Lake. I imagine her thought process was that she'd be able to work while also being near Jason, who could attend as a camper in case there were any issues. The one potential pitfall was that Jason could not swim, but as long as she informed all the counselors, he could just be excluded from these swimming-related activities until he learned how, you would think. I mean, that's what any reasonable person would do. In the summer of 1957, while Pamela was busy preparing meals, the other campers formed a mob around Jason and bullied him, chanting freak show and
Look at
putting a
that.
bag around his head, instilling in him this sense of shame that his face should always be covered. The counselors were nearby, but they were too busy flirting with one another.
Yeah, they were too busy fucking each other, not just flirting, but fucking.
And
each other.
then they created a demonic fucking entity
They did. They created a demon.
by bullying this kid into death. Well, I guess did he die? Yeah.
Yeah, he
becomes a
drowned.
deadite.
He drowned.
Right?
He had a fear for the water, and they pushed him in the water and killed
So
him.
he did die.
He did die. Yeah.
But this dark
or he survived maybe and was hiding ever since. Not quite sure.
they say that
I know Mom was crazy.
Voorhees was not a deadite from the beginning. He became one, I think, in Jason Goes to Hell. That's
I think so.
the canon.
Yeah.
He became a deadite
Yeah.
in that movie. When he becomes that black shit and he goes into people, that he became like a deadite, like that it manifests in other people. That's a pretty neat storyline, actually.
That's true.
And the beginning scenes of Jason Goes to Hell is wow. Yeah, it's pretty hot. The beginning of that movie.
And getting busy in broad daylight to notice or care about the commotion. Unfortunately for Jason, it turned tragic when the other campers forced him onto the dock and pushed him into the lake, where he drowned.
The counselors weren't paying any attention. They were making love while that young boy drowned.
I wouldn't say making love if they were doing it in front of the kids. That's really gross.
You
man.
don't even think of that though.
Yeah.
You have this movie basically saying, you know, they were screwing in front of a kid, and it just passes by like no big deal.
That's true.
No, if I can, like Ashen, if I'm in water, I could float it out, but like swim, I haven't had experience doing it, but I think I could. Like if I got in the deep end, I would be able to maneuver, I think. Yeah.
His name was Jason.
I should note that Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, shows different footage of Jason drowning, where the incident takes place at night. But since this is part of a story being told secondhand, we can assume that this scene is just the imagination of the storyteller. Jason's
That's true.
Okay.
Man, we gotta see that again.
Which one? 8?
Jason Takes Manhattan.
That's my
I mean,
favorite one.
Come on.
Hey, what's up, Janice?
I mean, Jason just like literally like boop, some guy's head off.
Oh, he was awesome, though.
I know. He tried.
He's like Apollo Creed. He's like, I'm done. I'm taking on this bitch. And then he just uppercuts his head off. It was phenomenal.
Janice is like, it was the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, camp counselors going in the river, in the lake, Camp Crystal Lake, and being nude together. And one thing leads to another. And then Jason comes out with a machete. Castration for all of you.
Goodbye, folks.
Yeah,
Bye.
that's it.
body was never recovered from the lake, leading to rumors about him coming back from the dead and terrorizing the area.
Now, if you listen to the old-timers in town, they'll tell you he's still out there. Some sort of demented creature. Surviving in the wilderness. Full grown by now. Stalking. Stealing what he needs.
This is the second movie, I think, because it's the dude in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
That's the second movie, if I remember.
I think, yeah. I think it's the second one. Judging by the film quality and shit, too, it looks like the second one.
The third one is at the barn. I know
Yeah.
that, and that's where Jason gets his mask.
Yeah.
His hockey mask.
Yes, that's right. Because prior he has a bag over his head.
Who's better, Krueger, Jason, or Michael? Okay, I'm always going to be a Freddy Krueger fan. I straight up love his sense of humor. It's fucking fucked up.
I guess so.
I like Jason, though, also, because, you know, he's just, you know, going around and just taking out the assholes for the most part. And then there's Michael Myers, and then you got Dr. Loomis, and you can't beat a good Loomis rage.
It depends on, the question has to be...
I guess on your mood.
No, the type of character you like.
Yeah.
Michael Myers is a psychopath that wants to wipe out his family, basically.
Yeah.
That's his character. If you're into that, that's weird.
Yeah,
He's just a
Jason
psycho.
just wants to wipe out anything that walks.
Jason, no, he wants to take out people that were like the people that fucked him over.
And then there's Freddy.
Freddy is an anomaly in a lot of ways. He's weird. He's
Yeah.
a weird story.
Yeah.
The P word deal was not real with him. That wasn't canon.
Well, that's not canon. No, that's
he was just a child murderer.
Yeah,
that's all.
Living off wild animals and vegetation.
Jason.
The question is why?
Mm-hmm.
Did he decide to do that?
I don't think that matters. The fact is he murdered children. So.
And then he decided to do it when they were sleeping.
And the neighborhood decides to take care of the problem of him, and it creates him. So the justice created the monster, which is a horrible storyline, but that's what they do.
The Lost Boys.
Lost Boys is good.
Made in Santa Cruz, California.
Kiefer Sutherland's amazing.
You got a Sutherland in that movie, so it's gonna be good if it has a Sutherland in it.
I was a huge addict of 24, like the beginning seasons.
Oh, I love the beginning seasons of 24. I watch them too with my dad all the time.
Fucking Alicia.
You probably watched them with your mom.
Alicia Cuthbert. Oh my god. It's true, man. Back in that day, she did an H&M shoot. It's like, whoa.
What's Craven was going to his PDF file part known, but due to real world issues that happened at the same time, he chose to leave it out. Oh.
Would indeed come back, and back, and back, and back. Each time more powerful than the...
What the hell?
Wait, let's not forget that Corey Feldman starred in the Friday the 13th movies, and he did an excellent job.
Yeah, he did.
Die! He shaved his head all wacky for the movie. It was great.
That's one of the coolest scenes in a slasher movie is when his hair's all fucked and he looks like Jason when they threw him in the river, the lake. That was a great fucking scene. And Corey was so good, man. Like,
I want to give Corey Feldman a huge hug.
Yeah, I'd totally do a movie with him.
He's great.
I think we could do something crazy
I think it would be fun.
Me and him. You'd be on that too.
To learn about the forces that gave Jason eternal life, how he impacted the design of goalie masks in our world, and the real purpose of the Jason
Hi, Horror Man 77. How are you?
Voorhees character, stick around to the end of this video. In the slasher genre, we have what is known as the Big Three. The soulless, immortal killer Michael Myers, afflicted with an ancient druid curse. The masochistic dream demon Freddy Krueger, enchanted by a trio of Greek deities. And finally, the undead, unrelenting killing machine Jason Voorhees, whose...
Which one is
undead?
The best?
He said undead.
Well, okay, Freddy's a deadite.
Yeah, Janice, they're missing Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy.
There you go.
He's basically just totally mentally gone person.
Yeah, he's just mentally ill.
I don't think there's any story with him other than that.
No.
He's just a mentally ill fucking psycho.
Yeah.
Scary. She does kind of have a point there. Because all he does is, like, the noises he makes. That's what he's doing the whole movie. That's really weird. So I get you, Janice. It's like a Hills Have Eyes guy, you know? You put your monster can right in front of my camera. Brought to you by Death Stranding. The only moisture I need in my body is Monster Energy drink.
I apologize to my husband for doing that debacle toward him.
That's okay.
The realistic stuff is what scares me. Same. I'd rather focus on this than the world affairs right now. I think it's a good spot to just be like, oh, okay, there's Freddy and Jason and Michael Myers. And,
I think worse than any slasher movie is Hostel.
Oh, that's Hostel is disgusting.
That movie's disgusting.
I hate Hostel.
Eli Roth.
Eli Roth has
Fucking weirdo.
he has problems. Yes, he does.
Okay.
He does. He has a lot of problems.
I give it to the writers of Saw. Like, I give it to them.
Yeah.
They have a very deep. It makes you ask, like.
Saw is a good movie, though.
Yes.
And Elon Roth, let's not forget, is the Bear Jew.
Who cares?
He was great as the Bear Jew.
Who gives a shit about him being Bear Jew when he's making movies about, like, torture sex and shit?
The Japanese do that sort of horror better. Well, there's that. You are right. The Japanese do great horror. Really fucked up horror, too. Like, really, like, freakish, like, images and stuff. Like,
Well, they reveal what they really want to do in their hentai, and it's really messed up. It's really weird. There's so many cultures that are really fucked when it comes to this stuff.
I think every culture's fucked in their own way. We are human. To be human is to err. Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about it. This is the type of stuff that we should talk about on, like, Patreon.
But I do enjoy Saw. The Saw movies are great.
That's what I wanted to say, thank you. As a writer myself, like, having crap... There's nowhere you can touch this thing without it.
Power to continually return from the grave.
Anyway, sorry about that. Now my thought's gone.
It was
Forget
about Saw.
Oh yeah. As a writer myself, and knowing how it is to construct a story, like, they need to have credit because they created a story that really makes you think. It's not just a guy going around killing people. That's not what Saw is.
It thinks about your moral choices in life.
The moral compass of very serious stuff like health insurance.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was that was real.
Yeah,
And then he gets diagnosed with the big C, and they fuck him.
they do.
They made a monster.
Yeah.
And it's just like you can see yourself even becoming something like that.
Isn't that interesting? If Jigsaw had health care, he wouldn't have become Jigsaw.
That's right. If they just took care of him like they were supposed to.
Ain't that something?
But that's real life. Like,
Yeah.
look at
It's happening now to a lot of
the
people.
Luigi Mangione thing.
Yeah.
He popped at CEO.
There you go.
And a lot of people call him a hero. I don't. He murdered someone. That's not cool.
Yeah, you don't do that. That's
You're
not
just
ethical.
doing that because he's hot.
Yeah.
To give him a pass.
Exactly. Be more ethical, people.
Yeah. It's not. Look, we know that healthcare companies are gross and all of this, but you can't. That's lawless, and we don't do that here.
It is.
We're not supposed to do that here.
No. No.
So, of the three, Shanny, you go with Freddie, right? Because he's your guy.
I think he's hilarious. Yeah.
Robert Englund is very legendary, so I wouldn't argue.
I love Robert Englund.
I don't like Freddie, the character.
Okay.
I don't like it. When it comes to pure slasher film, my favorite is Myers because he has so many different inventive ways to kill. If you're in a movie for that,
Yeah.
I think Myers takes it. Like Voorhees has had some crazy shit. Like when he boiled the woman.
Yeah.
No,
But I mean, let's look at
Freddie.
Freddie and the wild things
But
he
it's
does.
dreams.
Yeah, but like the wild things he does in your dreams, man.
But it's dreams. It's not physical real life. He's terrorizing people in their dreams.
That's true.
I see that as way less. Because everybody's had a nightmare they wake up from. It's like, oh, okay, that was a nightmare. You're living it with Myers and Voorhees. He's got a fucking machete coming for you.
That's true.
That's scary as fuck.
It is.
Waking up in a dream and being like, oh, that was a dream. Whatever. Like, you can get past that. You can't get past seeing Voorhees split a woman in half with a fucking machete. Like, that's going to scar you forever.
What really scarred me is that one movie with Freddie, and it's the one where the girl's pregnant.
Yeah,
like,
that was fucked
she's
up.
pregnant, and
Yeah.
he like pulls the person out like a freaking mannequin.
Yeah.
Or not a mannequin, but a puppet.
A puppet, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember what you're talking about. That was fucked.
Ooh, My Bloody Valentine is a good one.
You think so?
Yeah. I love all horrors. I'm just like that.
It comes from another 80s horror franchise. I'll explain that in a little bit. But first, welcome to Horror History. Let me send you a postcard from the Horror History classroom. Jason first appeared in the original Friday the 13th from 1980, but only briefly as a little kid. It wasn't until part 2 that he became the imposing killer that landed him in the
Exactly. The original killer is Jason Voorhees' mother.
Lame.
I know.
That I never watched the first one for this reason. It's lame as fuck. It's his mom. Who cares?
I don't know. She was a
Jesus
wicked
Christ.
Big
bitch.
3. And it wasn't until the end of part 3 that he gained his signature hockey
Why
mask
can't-
that everyone associates him with today. Like Pamela, parenting a kid with deep insecurities, the creators of the Friday the 13th franchise
Sorry, guys.
had to figure things out as they went. Thanks to the choice to name the franchise after a specific day and dates that many of the movies take place on, it's possible to determine nearly every item on the timeline. But it's not as straightforward as you might think. To understand what allowed Jason to rise from his watery grave, we've got to first take it back to the aftermath of his tragic death.
Yeah, so he's undead. He's a zombie.
Yeah,
he's
he's
undead.
undead.
And that's why when they burn him to cook crisp,
Maybe,
he's not
maybe
dead.
like Pinhead and Jason made a deal.
Okay, well, we either are going to deal with...
Well, I mean, listen.
that's definitely not canon.
Pinhead is a deadite, though.
Pinhead is, I think, a principality of hell.
And then there's Evil
Shanny.
Dead, and they also have deadites in them.
I think Pinhead is supposed to be one of the principalities of hell. He's one of the princes of hell.
Well, cool. They could do like a Jason Voorhees
Crossover.
like, Pinhead crossover.
Well, get on that.
It's been a while since they've actually had a decent Hellraiser, anyway.
The last one in the beginning of it's like a guy on a slab, and he's being like, there's like these vampiric-looking women that are dressed in like nun outfits, and they're like molesting him, and there's blood all over. I was like, okay, I'm not watching this. This is whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever. I don't care. It's like they need to reboot everything Hellraiser.
they do.
into
They
something.
really have to reboot Hellraiser.
Following Jason's path,
Because the first, I say, 3 movies were decent.
The first movie is very decent, and it gets honorable mention just for having Ozzy Osbourne song in it, Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Which was supposed to be Motorhead at first, and they did a version 2, and now they finally crossed them over, and it's amazing.
It's beautiful.
Oh.
Passing in 1957, Camp Crystal Lake gained a reputation as more incidents continued to occur.
Camp Crystal Lake is jinxed.
First, there were 2 counselors who...
You don't want to go to Camp Crystal Lake. You're a pretty girl here, and there's a lot of perverts around. You better be careful, young lady.
Hey, you don't want to go to Camp Crystal Lake. You got tits.
Oh, that chick, she had huge tits and, like, really shorty.
I know. Her, like, ass cheeks kind of on the bottom sometimes. You see, like, the bottom of her ass cheek.
Yup.
And her tits are like, holy shit.
She's not wearing a bra either.
But this was the time. They were doing this before, though. Remember that movie we watched, Microwave Massacre?
Yeah.
The beginning scene of that? Holy shit.
Yeah.
That was almost like a hardcore porn movie in the beginning.
That's true.
So they were doing stuff like that. It was the smut era.
Yeah.
That Tom Savini talked about that. You guys got to see the documentary about Tom Savini if you haven't seen that.
That's a good one.
If you're a horror fan and you haven't seen that, you need to see that.
It's a very good one.
Oh, it's so good.
were killed the following year in 1958, when they snuck away from the fireside song session for some alone time and were found stabbed to death. In 1962, the lake water was poisoned before the camp could open, and another year, wildfires extended the closure. But in 1979, a new owner would...
And then Kevin Bacon, I honestly think the sex scene in the first movie with Kevin Bacon is very pretty. Oh God, he's so hot.
But then he bleeds out, and it's like, that's kind of not hot.
I know, but Kevin Bacon is so yummy and always will be to me.
She loves the bacon.
Okay, here's the thing.
Shanny wants bacon.
Okay, so the first movie,
Huh?
Friday the 13th, you got Kevin Bacon in it.
That's true.
The Nightmare on Elm Street, you got Johnny Depp.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and...
What's better? Bacon.
Kevin Bacon, of course.
We need to take a poll. Who's hotter, Kevin Bacon or Johnny Depp?
Oh, Johnny Depp's gonna win.
Johnny Depp's going to win.
I know that, but, like...
I think probably Johnny Depp is objectively hotter than Kevin Bacon.
Ooh, Rage said, the most frightening clip of the movie to me is when Reagan comes crawling down the stairs upside down. That music and her spinning up, blood scared the yellow out of my bed.
Yeah. I hear that.
Crimson Glover's dancing was the best.
Woo, talk about it. Would you talk about it?
Oh my God, yeah.
That's so good. That song is, wow. That's a legendary song. And and I mentioned that to my coworkers, these young kids at work at Burger King.
Yeah.
I was like, I really like that. What's the name of the artist? Something Gambino, or, what's the name of his music name? Glover?
Oh, Danny
Childish Gambino. Or
I think it's Childish.
I said,
Gambino.
I'm into that song and new stuff, and they're like, what? It was hilarious because they were so young. They were 16-year-old kids, So I'm like, I like Childish Gambino. They're like, what are you talking about? I love it.
Yeah, Poetic Justice said Childish Gambino. I love him, man.
Oh man, This Is America. I love that shit. That's
This is America.
really good.
Don't let them catch you.
And okay, can we give him huge credit for being an amazing Lando? He was
great Lando.
I don't think anybody else.
And I also liked his comedy special, Weirdo.
Yeah, that was good too.
There you go.
Jesus.
And that Rihanna
I'm
movie.
done, man.
That Rihanna movie he was in was really good too.
Yeah, Rihanna.
What was
it
that
was
movie?
an activist movie.
Yeah.
Because it was about what, like Africa or something?
No, Jamaica.
Jamaica.
It's so cute. All right.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Back to Voorhees.
attempts to reopen the camp, only to see the bloodiest summer yet on record. On Friday, June 13th, 1979, counselors at Camp Crystal Lake were busy making last-second preparations for the reopening of the camp, not realizing that someone had an eye on them. A series of gruesome murders take place, including the cook who gets her throat slashed.
Aww. That poor girl.
You never want to see that. You got these beautiful chicks, man, and they're just like, free. And you see Voorhees, and he just ruins the fucking party for all the men.
I know, she had great tits.
All of these hot girls, and they're just there ready to fuck them. Because you just ask them. Like, in these movies, that's how they portray it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, sure.
Literally, the line that the
Maybe
guy...
that's how it was in the 70s.
I don't think... No. Well, this is the 70s, yeah.
Yeah.
But the lines the guys give, they just literally say, wow, that's a nice short skirt. Would you fucking sit on me? And they're like, yeah. Like, that's the way it's portrayed.
Pretty much on the way to the lake,
and then
counselor who
Voorhees
gets
is a
his
piece
throat
of
slashed
shit, and he
investigating
ruins
a
it for
stranger
all
in
the
one of
men.
the cabins, a couple who gets impaled with an arrow.
Oh, no.
That's it. That's the one.
Oh, Kevin Bacon. He's so beautiful. You can't do this to him. Hi, Tam Tam.
We
How
love
are you?
We love the Tam Tams.
Oh, Not Kevin Bacon. He's so beautiful.
Jesus Christ.
You look a lot like Kevin Bacon. I've said that several times.
That's the point of these movies, though. That's the entire point. You're gonna go and get the side fuck on. Nope.
And chop
You get a knife through your
effectively
fucking
after
head.
engaging in bedroom activities, a girl who becomes a human archery target, the camp owner who gets stabbed in the
Oh, I couldn't stand this. The little jeans shorts he wears in this movie.
God, so gay.
Oh my god! And his little like 70s porno mustache and
It's the Black Betty guy, though.
and yeah, he is the Black Betty
He's the
guy.
Black Betty guy.
But the thing is like the girl is kind of like the like head camp counselor girl.
Mm.
She and him are kind of like into it in a way. And I just like, why? They don't look like they belong together. I'm just saying.
No.
Sorry, that's something that's always bothered me
No,
about the movie.
she belonged with a football player looking guy.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
guy looks like a fucking pathetic incel that's
Ugh.
like just out in the woods, you know?
He looks like he'll grab anything he can get.
Yeah.
gut and hung in a tree, and one more counselor who somehow died and was later found pinned to the door of a cabin, which is probably
Hey, that's creative. Pinning a man to the cabin door.
Well, good. Voorhees does have inventive ways to do it,
He does.
but
he likes them up on a wall or something. But Mike Myers does as well.
yeah, in the first one he pins the guy with the glasses up on the door.
Exactly.
That's not the first death. No, the first death is Annie, right?
I'm not
That he chokes in the car. That's the first death. Yeah, Annie.
Yeah, it's with the girl with the pigtails and the big tits, her boyfriend, that gets nailed to the wall.
Yes, him. The guy.
Well,
yeah,
actually, more like stabbed to the wall.
with the Bob Lazar glasses.
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Why get me a fucking beer? He's like
That one chick had huge nips and one bent to the left.
No, the blonde dude. The blonde chick with the pigtails. Her tits were wow.
Yeah, she was also
that's-
in Crybaby and a bunch of other movies.
I mean that it's like there's no way like that's just good looking.
Yeah,
That was nice. She had very nice ones.
that's true.
And
impossible if you
they're all just incel fucking. Voorhees and Myers are fucking incels that just don't want men to have sex with women.
That's probably it.
It's pathetic, disgusting shit.
Angry ass men.
Yeah, they're just like they won't touch me, so I'm not going to let any other male touch them. You're dead.
Crybaby. No.
That's a
he
Johnny
weighs like
Depp
more
movie,
than
right?
20 pounds, but
Yeah, I never.
who knows? Maybe these are really sturdy arrows. However, none of this was the work of Jason, but rather of his mother, Pamela. First to get revenge on the counselors who neglected their boy, then to make sure nobody would suffer the same fate by sabotaging the camp so it could not open, and finally by killing anyone who did successfully try to reopen it, to send a message to future owners. But there's a reason I brought up all of Pamela's actions in an episode about Jason. When the last remaining counselor, Alice Rand, yes, her canonical name is Alice Rand, goes up against Pamela, she almost seems to channel the spirit of her deceased son, as if they're both living in her body.
Kill her, Mommy. Kill her.
Kill her, Mommy. Kill her. You know?
Kill her, Mommy.
They're just psychopaths in that family, man. There's just something wrong with their genetic line. They must be inbreds or something.
They were made psychopaths
How was she made a psychopath?
by inhumane camp counselors that didn't care about her son. That just fucked.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be hurting innocent people who don't have anything to do with my own kid.
Camp counselor job entails fucking. That's the top job description.
Girl needs to have an orgasm. She may have felt better.
That's seriously what they do, though.
I know.
And the main job description is fucking to be a counselor.
There you go.
Don't let her get away, Mommy. Don't let her live.
I won't.
There's no way of
Okay, Danny.
Lame ass fucking shit. That is. That's lame.
Kill her, Mommy. I will.
You gotta kill her, Mommy. Why? Why? Because she's a female with boobs, and she won't look at me.
Down with the boobies.
I'm angry. She won't look at me. Kill her. Kill her, Mommy.
definitely knowing if she was really carrying Jason's spirit, or if she had just lost her mind and developed dissociative identity disorder as a means of coping with her son's death, but I believe that she really was channeling Jason's spirit because of this book found in Voorhees' house after her death. This is the Necronomicon.
Whoa. How is the Necronomicon involved in this?
Oh my god. What? I have a copy here.
That is true. He
I
does.
have a copy here.
He does. He has a Necronomicon.
See, I took... This is Ash's copy. Ash told me I could have this. So... Mullarum. I don't know. Okay? Ash told me I could have it. Now it's on authority. He's like, my chainsaw arm hurts. Take this book. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here, Bruce? Shut up. I'm Ash. Take the fucking book. And I took it. He's like, you got a thing with Jesus or something, right? You got like a pact with Jesus. I'm like, yeah, Bruce Campbell.
Muscle Rocky said, dude, Rev, you're projecting the incel motive, my boy.
I know that.
He's not an incel.
I'm exposing the incel motive.
I make sure he's not an incel.
I never was like that.
No.
I had plenty of... I could have been going to a bar every night if I wanted and got laid every night. That's not an issue.
Well, I definitely make sure you're not an incel.
Yeah, you do make sure of that.
All I do is wiggle my booty.
Don't take much.
No.
But I'm going to tell you this right now, okay? That's a legitimate book because I have it here. Ash said, take this and fucking stash it. And I said, whatever, dude. I like you and Bubba Hotep. And he said, fuck you. And he left.
It's Bruce, man. He does his own thing.
He's got a deal. You know?
A grimoire, or magic spellbook, that was often referenced in the stories of horror author H.P. Lovecraft, first appearing in his short story The Hound, and later, more notable works, such as At the Mountains of Madness and The Call of Cthulhu. The Necronomicon, often referred to as the Book of the Dead, is described as...
book.
These are scenes from the movie Evil Dead, by the way.
Yeah, the Necronomicon is a fake book. It does not exist.
But I also want to say, Evil Dead is amazing.
Yeah, sure.
Made by the legendary Sam Raimi. And, Bruce Campbell's in it, and because of that, we have Xena, and I thank the world for that.
It's very bizarre to have a scene in a movie where a woman gets violated by a plant.
Well, unless you go Japanese horror type shit.
I didn't like that scene.
I know.
It's very disturbing to me.
It's not for everyone, my love.
I don't understand why they have to put something like that in a movie.
To show tits.
No. Like, it's gross.
Well, you know, it is what it is.
Hidden and arcane knowledge, including spells and incantations that can summon powerful cosmic entities or open portals to other dimensions. Those who read the Necronomicon often face madness or worse, as the knowledge it contains is too much for the human mind to comprehend. This could explain Pamela's sudden change from apparently hireable cook.
Whoa. So she read the Necronomicon and it turned her into like a deadite or something. Or had the spirit of a deadite.
Is that what was said?
I guess.
Really? God.
To violent murderer. If she used a spell to bring back her dead boy, she may have advertently or inadvertently become the host of his soul.
Hey, you guys!
It's obviously sloth. You know, it's kind of like Navi in Zelda.
Yeah.
Hey, over here, shut up! I'm trying to go to the water temple, and you keep telling me to go to this boulder, which I've been to 1,000,000 times. There's nothing special there. Hey, over here!
See? You know.
Navi, shut up.
Soul inside her body. The appearance of the Necronomicon in Jason Goes to Hell resembles the appearance of the book in another iconic 80s horror franchise, The Evil Dead, where it's referred to...
Thank you for actually mentioning it. It should have been the first you mentioned, but anyway. That's me. Look how handsome he was. He still is handsome. He was 19 years old when he made this movie. 19. They were just a bunch of college kids putting a movie together for their college class. Legendary.
I really think though that it's like you should see other Bruce Campbell movies because he's a very good actor.
I have.
And what? Not you.
Oh.
I'm saying for our audience. If you haven't seen anything else, you absolutely watch all the episodes of Xena with him in it. He's fucking great in that show.
He's the Prince of Thieves.
Let Robin Hood, but he's a thief, yeah.
That's what he calls himself.
He's a shitty thief. Anyway.
Kind of drunken master type thief.
Also, you need to see Bubba Hotep. It's incredible. That's one of the greatest films ever made. Easy. Bubba Hotep. Okay, then you know the true Bruce Campbell power.
I already know it, baby.
I love him.
To as Necronomicon Ex Mortis, and used to summon deadites, which are evil spirits that have the ability to possess the bodies of any creature of flesh, living or dead. It's easy to see how a desperate, lonely, and stupid Pamela Voorhees may have turned to the occult as a last-ditch effort to save her son, and found an incantation in the Necronomicon that allowed her to bring him back.
Oh!
Now, wait a minute, though. Is that ever said in canon of Friday the 13th?
I'm not sure. I mean, I know they say he's a deadite, so that would make sense.
Yes, but there, I don't think there's any mention of the Necronomicon in any of the Friday the 13th movies. I don't. Where is that? Someone's going to have to cite that for me. I don't remember the Necronomicon ever being brought up in Friday the 13th.
I guess we're going to have to rewatch it.
Not realizing what the consequences would be. This is confirmed by Jason Goes to Hell director Adam Marcus in an interview with Horror Geek Life, which sounds more like your life. When asked about the possible Evil Dead connection, Marcus...
Jason Goes to Hell was a turning point in the character.
Yeah.
And that is canon. That's official.
Yeah.
They blew him apart in the beginning of the movie.
With the naked girl running in a
hot.
towel.
That scene where they're fucking in the tent is really hot in that one.
There you go.
That's a really hot sex scene. But anyway,
Baby, do you want to fucking attend?
yeah, that would be awesome.
We've never done that.
I know, we were doing that. But anyway, they're running through the forest and they blow him apart with landmines. Remember? That's a turning point. He becomes something more. Then he possesses the black cop, remember?
There,
yeah, it's a great movie,
there
actually. That's one of the best Jason movies. Jason Goes to Hell. Yeah.
Explains that he had the blessing from Evil Dead's creator, Sam Raimi, stating, Pamela makes a deal with the devil by reading...
Oh, he got the blessing from Ted, man, or Sam Raimi to put this in canon.
Okay, but does that count for Friday the 13th?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
From the Necronomicon to bring back her son. Jason Voorhees is a Deadite. He's one of the evil dead. And while that's sure to ruffle the feathers of some diehard OG Friday fans, it does explain some of the nonsense that takes place throughout the series. Headcanon exists for a reason. Yeah. You can always choose to regard or disregard whatever material you want in your own head. But in this video, all the movies are canon. After killing 7 Crystal Lake...
Sorry.
Yeah, DN is a fan of the Halloween movies. Okay, DN, how did you feel about the Rob Zombie movies? I think they suck. Ass.
No, I don't like any Rob Zombie movie. I'll
Me
just
neither.
be honest.
Yeah, well, okay. Devil's Rejects was pretty good.
I can't stand his movies. I can't stand him.
I
love his music. He just should stick to music. Everything else, like his movies, they always make me feel incredibly uncomfortable.
They're supposed to, though.
Throw up. Yeah, I don't like movies like that.
House, you didn't like them either. See?
Yeah.
No. He tried to go away with that to, like, modernize it.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work.
No, I like the original John Carpenter fucking Halloween. Straight up.
And the second one. The second Halloween.
one.
And the third movie's totally different, which is cool. Silver Shamrock.
I like the other ones.
like that one.
I like the other Halloweens, the 4 and 5, and H2O is going to have a special part in my heart.
All right, fine.
That was hot. Anyway.
What do you call? Did you like the latest ones with Jamie Lee? I thought they were good.
I thought it was good. Jamie, she rocked it as always. She rocked it as always.
She got the shit kicked out of her in the end of that movie.
Oh man, the last Halloween, her ass got
She
kicked.
took hits for real, though.
She did, man. It's like, damn, that's like a 70-year-old woman taking hits. That's crazy.
That was for real.
Yeah, she's awesome. She was doing her own stunts and stuff in that movie.
Halloween 1 and 2 is one movie.
I think so.
And it's really good.
You got Loomis in it.
But
you got Loomis in 4 and 5 too.
He Donald Pleasance lived until he was about 80 something. So
yeah.
He was in what? The last one he was in what? H2O?
I'm not sure.
No. Resurrection.
What?
Halloween Resurrection he died after that one. I'm pretty sure. Somebody could.
I gotta rewatch my movies, man. The Rob Zombie version sucked balls. I can't like.
The only good thing that I saw about the Rob Zombie Halloween movie was Michael Myers' sister was like a hot goth chick. That's the only thing that interested me through the whole movie.
I don't know. The first movie, that woman's his sister in the original with her tits. God. Yeah, those were real titties.
Wow.
You know, those were fake shit.
I wanted to see everything of that. No, I did. I remember seeing that 12 years old and being like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That would be hard to live with as a straight male, and even if it's your sister, like looking like that.
Oh my God, Jesus, Jason.
Very hot.
Pamela finds Alice Rand in a shed armed with a gun, and Jason's spirit eggs her on to kill this final girl as well. Alice chickens out with the gun, so it turns to hand-to-hand combat, and by that I mean a lot of bitch slapping and a flying pen to Pamela's face. The struggle ends beside the lake, where
I would have bashed her head a few more times. You know, you got to double tap that shit.
It's so ridiculous that the mother.
It's like, stop being such a bitch.
Pamela tries to sneak up on Alice with the machete, a tool that would become a favorite of Jason's over the years. And Alice ultimately gets a hold of the blade, using it to decapitate the overprotective mother. Exhausted, Alice pushes a canoe out into the lake and sleeps there, only to find one more.
And then she wakes up and gets pulled under the boat at the end of the movie.
But where's the boy?
That was Jason that pulled her under the
Who?
water.
Who are you talking about? The boy.
The boy.
The boy.
More surprise waiting for her in the morning.
What's up, Diamond Boy?
Responding officers would find her in the lake and save her, but no evidence of Jason is ever found, even after this police sketch was published in the newspaper. But given what we know about Pamela carrying Jason's undead soul, the logical explanation is that when Pamela was killed, Jason's soul moved to the closest body that was available, which was Jason's original body, still lying at the bottom of the lake. As I mentioned, all of this
Huh.
So, oh wait,
Okay.
this would make it a little bit more better. The
Yeah.
plot line.
Yeah.
It was Jason's spirit that was possessing the mother.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty neat.
But then it possessed its body as a deadite. Probably made a deal with
The dead
Pinhead.
body. The only thing to go in was the dead body of him.
Made a deal with Pinhead.
Took place
That's
on what
I'm
would have been
figuring.
Jason's 33rd birthday. Friday, June 13th,
done with this
1979,
shit.
with Alice's canoe incident being the following morning. We know the year because Pamela Voorhees' grave says that she died in 1979. The original Friday the 13th movie came out in 1980, so this creates a bit of confusion because in real life, June 13th, 1980 was a Friday, but June 13th, 1979 was a Wednesday. To make things
Huh.
Okay.
That is confusing.
Today is Friday, June 13th.
Yes.
Literally.
I know. It's literally Jason's birthday today.
So maybe an actual Jason Voorhees is born today
Yeah. On a Friday the 13th.
on a Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
That'd be incredible.
Isn't that cool?
Wow.
It's June 13th. It's Friday, June 13th.
And tomorrow we celebrate the amazing birthday of the orange guy.
Right after Jason's birthday. Yeah.
Wow.
That's fucked up.
more confusing, the original movie states that it takes place on Friday, June 13, the present, leading many to believe that the present refers to the year of the movie's release, 1980. However, because of the very deliberate inclusion of this tombstone in part 4, I'm going to assume that the present actually refers to the year that the movie was filmed, 1979. This means that the weekdays in the movie universe are shifted 2 days sooner than the
my
weekdays in
God,
our
you're just
universe.
thinking
In other
too much.
words, if it's Friday the 13th in
It's a
movie, it's
fucking
Friday the
movie.
15th in real life. Remember that, it's going to be important. Although Alice survives her first encounter with Jason, she wouldn't get away for very long. The next confirmed date is 2 months later in August 1979.
The girl who survived that night at Camp Blood.
See, this is the second movie, like I said. The dude in the wheelchair.
Yeah, you're right.
The second
You're
movie.
right. You're right. Yeah.
I know, he was just, like, my problem with it is he was just about to get laid by that brunette chick. And they end up getting killed right before he was about to get laid. I'm like, damn.
Let's see.
Let the dude in the wheelchair get laid first. Then bop him.
No.
You know?
No. Voorhees is very angry because these females that he wants to touch won't look at him.
Huh.
He's very angry.
What movie has traumatized me now to maybe continues? Charlotte's Web. Yeah, that's the traumatizing movie
All right.
until now. That still traumatizes me till this day is Charlotte's Web.
I think my answer is Itchy the Killer. Like that.
okay.
That's still there's shit embedded in my mind that won't go away from that movie.
See, mine's completely innocent, and yours is just completely dark and horrible.
Yeah. There's certain things that once you see it,
We probably should turn the light on. It's like black in here.
your brain, it goes in your brain. I'm gonna put that on. That.
Let there be light.
Aye.
You know? The dogs are barking
God.
all day. Roar, 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 roar. Just, the switch?
The TV. Here we go. The TV has a USB. Boom. And it works, I bet. No? We'll curse you. Damn you all to hell. Yeah, it works. There we go.
Oh, lower, 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 lower. Lower light. There we go. That'll work.
Okay. I'm gonna go get you a smoke.
Oh, are you?
I can't anymore. I can't.
Can I have my earpiece?
I can't anymore
Thank
with this bullshit.
I'll
I'm gonna go.
Friday the 13th.
alright. Quiet. Jason's gonna leave and get some cigarettes. He'll be right back, folks. It'll be just me and you guys. Yeah, right? It's a very masculine light, my love. It's so masculine. It's so masculine. It turns me into a man and gives me a dick. It's so masculine. Oh, well then. Oh. Okay, back to the movie.
She claims she saw
Be safe and
She
be
disappeared 2 months later.
Jason would call her house to distract her, allowing him to sneak into her kitchen through the window and place his mother's head in the fridge. After Alice discovers his little gift, Jason, now a full-grown adult,
It was Jaws for you. You saw Jaws and you can't even walk in the ocean because of Jaws? Really? Dude, I see that at least like twice a year is Jaws because I let's just be honest. It's got Richard Dreyfuss in it, and I love Richard Dreyfuss movies, so. Most sharks won't even touch you. You don't taste good. Humans are very metallic tasting.
grabs her from behind and stabs her in the temple with an ice pick, making it clear that this was his way of avenging his mother. Jason would move her body to a shack in the woods where he was building a shrine in Mrs. Voorhees' honor, and would continue to seek revenge on anyone who entered his wilderness. He seemed to be living out of this shack, hunting small animals, but it's not clear if he needed to eat to survive. It doesn't seem like he does. Although Jason's biggest killing sprees were saved for Friday the 13th, he did attack anyone he encountered, regardless of the date, probably in order to preserve his secrets. That seems to be what happened to Christine Higgins in the summer of 1982, 2 years before the events of Friday the 13th Part 3.
I know it's only been 2 years, but I feel like I've been away forever.
After
Yeah, she sees Jason. Jaws movies are my all-time favorite. However, I was 6 when I saw it the first time, and it scared the crap out of me, laugh out loud, but I watch those movies every time they're on. See, I feel that way about Jaws, too. Like, I love Jaws. They're great. I like the first one. The first one's my favorite. The second one is good. The third one, yeah, it's okay. But, you know, you don't think you'll ever watch it again? I'm sorry about that. And tell that to the 9-year-old in Florida that got her hand bitten off yesterday. There was a Jaws attack yesterday. Someone bit off his 9-year-old girl's hand. Holy shit. Dang, man. You two on Richard Dreyfuss? I mean, he's a legend.
Getting in a fight with her parents, she ran away and hid out in the woods, where she fell asleep under an oak tree. Later, she was startled awake by what she described as a hideous, inhuman man with a knife. She was able to kick the knife out of his hands and run, but he caught her and dragged her away. Chris was unable to remember how she did it, but she did escape, though the incident scarred her for life.
I'll never forget that horrible face, never!
This would not be her last encounter with the Crystal Lake Killer, but first, there would be another attempt to open a summer camp on the sparkling New Jersey shore.
Ah, Eileen, for you, it's the Omen movie. The original, the first one, with the little kid, that gave you nightmares. My favorite Omen is the Omen 2, when he's like a teenager, and he's going to like military school, and like it's just showing like how he comes to realize that he is the Antichrist. No, I don't, Vaughn.
They say time heals all wounds, and not only is that true for Jason, but also for the surrounding community of Camp Crystal Lake. While the old-timers had given up on trying to hold camp at the location due to a belief that the area was jinxed, there would always be a fresh set of young entrepreneurs who weren't afraid.
The woman in the red coat getting pecked by the crows, that was amazing. That was homage to the birds.
Afraid of the location's sordid history, seeing the stories as no more than campfire tales.
We're the first to return here. 5 years. 5 long years he's been dormant. And he's hungry.
That means the year was 1984, but remember,
He's so hungry. Rarg.
due to the calendar difference in the fictional world, if it's Friday the 13th in the movie, it's Friday the 15th in real life. There's only one Friday the 15th in 1984, and it lands in June. I researched a bunch of summer camp start dates and found that the average start date was in mid to late June, and the counselors would get there beforehand for what I assume is about a week of trainings. It starts one day before, on June 12th, 1984. I should also note that Camp Crystal Lake, where Jason drowned and Pamela lost her head, was closed down and roped off. So this new camp was set up next door on a property called the Packanack Lake region. Basically, Jason sees the council.
That chick. Jason loves that chick. Big tits, big ass, short and squat. Yep.
Counselors arrive, realizes they're just like the counselors who let him drown when he sees head counselor Paul making out with his girlfriend Ginny and strangled this guy, Crazy Ralph, with a barbed wire. Crazy Ralph had been trying to warn the Packanack staff about the danger. So Jason took him out and hid him in a pantry. Many have wondered how Jason aged up so fast. If he still appeared as a kid in '79, why was he now a full-grown adult just 5 years later? I've never.
He became a Deadite. He made a deal with Pinhead and became a man that day.
Really questioned it this much, seeing as how it's an 80s horror franchise where no filmmaker was afraid to change things in order to service whatever story they wanted to tell, but it's always been a huge talking point for fans, so sure, let's talk about it. I think there are 4 theories worth talking about. Theory number 1, Jason just continued aging after coming back from the dead. He drowned when he was 11, so he'd be 16 in 1984. Some 16-year-olds look like adults. When I went to summer camp as a kid, there was this one counselor that we assumed was like 25, but then we found out that he was 16. However, I've got to slash this theory because it doesn't take Jason's second encounter with Alice Rand or his first encounter with Christine Higgins into account. He's fully grown when he kills Alice, at which point he'd still be 11. Theory number 2, the multiple Jasons theory. This one posits that 49-year-old Pamela Voorhees couldn't have accomplished all of those killings by herself, so she possessed some random truck driver to help her. This one does have some interesting things going for it.
The multiple Jasons theory. Like, Jason Voorhees isn't really a man, but more like a spirit that goes through people. Huh. That's kind of like what they were talking about in the new Halloween movie, kind of, sort of.
Like the fact that some of the kills in the original are done silently, but when we actually see Pamela, she seems to be incapable of shutting up about why she's doing what she's doing. However, as I got deeper into this one, I realized it was actually proposing that there are like 3 or 4 Jasons to explain the minute differences in Jason from movie to movie. The mental gymnastics get pretty strenuous, I'd say. The author even admits that it's a stretch halfway through.
Maybe a copycat killer? It could be that. Copycat?
I'm slashing this one. Theory number 3, Jason never died. This theory is actually presented in universe by Ginny.
He'd be gone by now, right?
Right.
We can expand on it knowing what we know now. Maybe Jason was always invincible. After drowning in the lake, he just got up and marched right out that night, but nobody knew that he was alive. If that's the case, then Alice Rand's encounter with the child Jason must have just been a dream.
He must have seen the whole thing happen. He must have seen his mother get killed.
If you're willing to accept that Alice just fell out of her canoe during a dream, this is mostly a clean theory, but it doesn't do much to explain how Jason became invincible. So, theory number 4, it's magic. In the interview I mentioned earlier, where Adam Marcus
My oldest son is still scared as hell of Pinhead Hellraiser. He's 31. Well, I mean, Pinhead is one of the... It should be very, you should be afraid of that thing, because he's a creepy son of a bitch, and he takes pleasure in your pain and others' pain and his pain, too. He's psychotic.
This explains the inclusion of the Necronomicon. He mentions that it always bothered him that Jason grows up so quickly, and he feels that Pamela's magic deal with the devil is what causes Jason to accelerate from a boy to a man in a couple of short months. Theories number 3 and number 4.
See, he made a deal with Pinhead and became a Deadite. The only way... These dogs annoy me. My sister made my nephew watch Hellraiser when he was 6. I was so pissed.
Can both work.
My dad, he just always had these type of movies on, so, like, I kind of grew up with it, and I don't know.
Depending on what you believe. Remember what I said earlier about headcanon? If your personal headcanon is that only the movies with Friday the 13th in the title count, then you'd probably side with theory number 3. But since I'm considering everything in this video, I have to operate with theory number 4 in mind. But whichever you choose, it doesn't really affect anything later on. So the next day is the infamous Friday the 13th. Part of the fear around the date has to do with the superstition that Friday the 13th is bad luck. But where does that mentality actually come from? I don't know, so I decided to look it up. It's hard to know exactly when Friday the 13th became thought of as unlucky, but it likely comes from the Christian religion. Oh, come on. Okay, for those of you who don't know, I have
No, it does come from the Christian religion. It comes from the Knights of Templar, Friday the 13th, and that's...
nothing against the Christian religion, but I made this video a while ago about how there are just too many horror movies that are centered in that world. I call it religious horror, and ever since making that video, it feels like I just can't escape from it, no matter what topic I do. I did briefly mention Friday the 13th in that video, because the 9th movie is Jason Goes to Hell.
It's literally Jason's birthday, Eileen. June 13th. Friday, June 13th. So, it's literally Jason's birthday.
Hell, but I didn't know it went this deep. Apparently, they're superstitious about Friday the 13th because in the Christian Bible, Judas, who is said to have betrayed Jesus, was the 13th guest at the Last Supper, and many unfortunate things happened on Fridays. This article from National Geographic also mentions that there may be a more logical reason that the number 13 is seen as cursed, because many things come in sets of 12, like 12 months in a year, or 12 eggs in a carton, so going beyond that is seen as uncanny.
Yeah, but a baker's dozen is 13, and that's delicious. You know what I mean?
That still doesn't explain the Friday thing, but regardless of the origin, I think the reason that it's still seen as unlucky today is confirmation bias. It's such a widespread superstition that people are more likely to believe that something bad will happen on Friday the 13th, making it more likely for something bad to actually happen due to cognitive behavior. The same way that the positive power of belief can lead to the release of endorphins in the brain, research shows that negative beliefs can...
Yeah, you're right, Eileen, and we had the strawberry moon, too. Yeah, people are gonna go fucking nuts this weekend.
Lead to negative physical symptoms. The other side of that is if
I mean, look what's happening with Israel and Iran right now. Nuts. Your dad was born Friday the 13th? That's awesome.
something genuinely unlucky does happen on Friday the 13th, you're more likely to notice it because you have Friday the 13th on your mind. The other driving factor, of course, is the popularity of the Friday the 13th franchise, which ironically is another example of something that comes in sets of 12, if you include Freddy vs. Jason and the 2009 remake. And that brings us to Friday, June 13th, 1984, where it is the belief in Jason's legend that sets things off for these two camp counselors, Sandra and Jeff, because they venture away from their own camp with hopes of seeing Camp Blood, which is now a nickname used for Camp Crystal Lake. It's not clear which direction Camp Blood is from their camp. Here, they're walking with the lake on their left, but in the next shot, the lake is on their right, as if they're now traveling in the other direction. Maybe they don't know where it is, and they're just searching by trial and error, but eventually Jason follows them and sees them hop the fence into the territory of his camp. With camp back in session,
that's really dumb of them to do. But they're just kids. They probably thought nothing would happen. When you're that age, you're like invincible. I don't know why, but you are.
I can just imagine the postcard Jason would have sent to his mom.
Dear Mom, I'm having so much fun at camp this year. Deputy Winslow came back after hauling off those teens, said we play tag. And I tagged him with the claw of a hammer into the back of his head.
And believe me, it was a very low-speed chase. If this camper had a favorite camp activity, it was definitely hunting, as the rest of the counselors would soon find out. When some of the counselors went into town, a few stayed back with plans of hooking up, which didn't work out well for them because Jason almost seems to have a sixth sense for premarital activities. He caught one in a trap and slashed his throat with a machete. Another counselor caught a machete to the face while rolling outside to check on his girl as a thunderstorm.
It was not fair, man. Let the dude in the wheelchair get laid first. I never appreciated that part of the movie. Because it's like, oh my god, he finally found a girl that likes him. You know? It's just sad to me.
Was brewing. This also causes him to roll away from the cabin and down a long stairway. You could say that he was chair-yeeted. You have no idea how long I've waited to say that. Inside the cabin, Jason found himself a spear and a horror mask, but ended up discarding the mask. Guess it wasn't his style. Don't worry, Jason. I'm sure you'll find the perfect mask for you one day. He finds Sandra and Jeff upstairs doing the deed, stabs the spear through both of them in one go, and then hides in their bed.
That's messed up too. Like, at least let them finish. But no. Jason has to, like, get in their business. They're in their own house. They're not doing it in the open air.
And waits for another counselor in training to discover them, and slashes her up with a chef's knife. Maybe an homage to his mom's job when she worked at Camp Crystal Lake. After removing all the bodies, his hide and stab game continues when he camps out in a dark corner and gets the jump on Paul, before turning his attention to Paul's girlfriend, Ginny. The chase takes them outside to Ginny's car, but she's able to door him and kick him in the balls to buy some escape.
Run, Jenny. Run. This is reminding me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, they pretty much have the same theme. You know. Hello, my love. The husband is back. Oh. Danke.
Escape time. While Jason is invincible, this early version of Jason wasn't as unstoppable as some of the later.
Correct. Of course. Of course there's cat hair. The thight's feeling better, so it's healing. I know.
I'm glad to hear that, hon.
I don't want a swollen eye.
Oh, wow.
But I figured I got it because I was laughing at Shelly for making fun of Foodie for laughing at her eye.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Shelly got her eye messed up, and then I laughed at it, ha 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 ha, and then, you know, I got the eye thing. So let's stop laughing at hurting each other's eyes, because God will punish your ass for it.
I didn't laugh at all, and I didn't get nothing wrong with my eyes, so.
See, I did, and I had something wrong with my eyes.
Well, it happened.
There you go. Everyone's saying happy birthday, Rev.
Okay, well, I'll accept that for the sake of the stream. Thanks.
It's Jason Voorhees' birthday.
All right. I'm not Voorhees, though. I mean...
iteration.
I'm an Anglo-Saxon. The name Voorhees is straight German, I think, Voorhees.
Yes.
So,
in my opinion, he's...
I don't think I'm related.
Maybe.
Seems to get stronger the longer he's removed from being human. But what's definitely inhuman is his apparent ability to warp around to the nearby area. For example, we see him run past Ginny right here, then somehow he reappears on the trail beside her and cuts her off. I'm not suggesting that he literally has teleportation powers, by the way. I think the takeaway is just supposed to be that he has an uncanny sense of direction. And this was their way of communicating that.
No.
Well, I mean, he's in these woods forever. Maybe he, like, can do that and triangulate himself.
I thought it was understood that he has supernatural, like, teleportation powers and stuff. I thought that was understood.
It seems like it, because all he's doing is walking, but yet catching up to these running, panicking people.
He can appear in front.
Yeah.
And just be like, yeah, you're dead.
Ooh, you smell good.
You like my smell?
I love your smell.
Yeah, this black stuff, vanilla, is good.
It is.
I think I might go back to Dark Temptation, though. I think that's the nicest. Very vanilla. I like vanilla smell.
That through the medium of film. We learn something else about him when he tracks her back to one of the cabins and notices her pissing her pants in fear. Instead of just attacking her again, he tricks her into thinking he's left the room by standing on a chair and letting the door slam. Jason is not just this irreconcilable force, he also possesses some cleverness.
Man, what the fuck do you do when you really have to pee, and there's a mouse in front of you, and then you pee yourself, and you have a killer? And he noticed that you peed yourself, and he was like, let me pretend I leave, and then he's like standing on a chair. What an asshole.
Which would come out from time to time. The chase finally ends at Jason's hut, the location of the shrine he dedicated to his mother, containing her head, her sweater, the cop, a counselor named Terry, and one older corpse, presumably belonging to Alice Rand. Jason chops down the door with a pickaxe, but instead of finding Ginny, he comes face to face with his mom, or so it seems.
Jason! It's all done, Jason.
It's all done, Jason. We can go home now. I'm just wearing her sweater. Jason,
You know it's mommy, don't you? I love you. She was looking so rough. I didn't see stoned eyes. I saw too much sodium and crying eyes. What?
Chantal, obviously.
Did she go online?
No.
Oh.
When she was on.
Piss on the mouse and throw it at him? That's a good one, Rage.
That's a good idea.
That is a good one.
That would probably work.
It's done, Jason. Stop murderizing now.
You just grab a fucking rat and piss on it and throw it at his face.
Ah! Take that, pissy rat power. Go.
Fucking piss rat in your face, motherfucker. Take the piss rat, you fuck.
Oh, the cameo shit? Oh, I don't give a fuck.
She's obviously
Can you drop
still
well, Mommy,
dealing
please?
in some.
We see his
somewhere.
point of view as his brain conflates the image of Ginny with that of his mother. He even starts to hear her voice in his psychosis.
Mommy
Has a reward for you.
It seems that Ginny
She is such an evil bitch from hell. You never expect it from a woman that looks like that, but now you do.
Mommy
you know?
dearest shit.
I know.
Psychopath.
She charges $100 for her cameo. Yeah. Okay.
Wow. Yeah, you're definitely worth that.
She had hamburger eyes, Eileen. Mm-hmm. Well, Eileen said labia eyes, but I don't want to associate her with labias.
Ew, never. That's no. Fuck that.
You saw that Hardee's, how the Hardee's beef and cheese look. That's how. Yeah. Put two and two together.
Ginny's theory that Jason was trying to resurrect his mother must have been correct, and he believes that bringing her enough victims actually did the trick. We can only speculate on what Jason actually believes, but maybe the fact that his own
Telling you she got bat wings down under.
revival from the bottom of the lake came after Pamela killed a bunch of counselors has convinced Jason that he can do the same to bring back his mother. If this is the case, it could explain why he's become such a relentless killing machine. Perhaps his whole motivation throughout the series is to bring back his mom. This would also support my idea that Pamela was carrying Jason's soul when she killed the counselors in 1979. Belief is a powerful, powerful influence, but the illusion is broken when Ginny moves and he spots Pamela's real head, causing Jason to snap back to reality and block her machete attack, almost like a goalie might deflect a hockey puck. While Ginny's diversion was only temporary, it did buy enough time for Paul, who had regained consciousness, to find her and wrestle Jason out of the way, allowing Ginny to grab the machete and hack it several inches into Jason's left shoulder. Before leaving, they remove his burlap mask. He finds them in their cabin, and when it looks like Ginny's guard is down, he literally shatters their illusion of safety.
Corey Feldman's next.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Those are the best ones with Corey Feldman.
I've noticed that there is only one thing in this world that Jason hates more than camp counselors, and that is windows. If Jason has a chance to break a window while going after his victims, he's going to do it 100% of the time. I brought the proof. Roll it.
I hate windows.
That nice. Oh, there's Corey right
Yeah.
there. That nice old sugar. How the fuck does he break? Okay, I know it's sugar glass, but it's like there's literal like wood there too, and he breaks through that too.
It's not that thick of wood.
Well, I guess
It's
not.
loosely put together frame.
I mean, yeah. I mean, movie magic. It's probably sugar glass mixed with like chocolate or something. You know.
They get to eat it after.
Yeah, exactly. But oh god, don't. I was pregnant when I watched the newer version of Hills Have Eyes. That was too much for me. I was very pregnant when I saw that.
I don't understand people that would be into Hills. Hills Have Eyes. I don't get that. That's weird.
Oh, I know Corey Feldman does his music, and I love every bit of it. It's glorious.
Comeback King. He hates windows.
He really does hate windows. He'll just smash through the window. I mean, we have a window behind us. Now I'm getting kind of paranoid. Have a G-Man come through the window.
No way.
Hey guys, I'm here to debate you on abortion.
On Israel. You
Maybe
know.
he's emo and likes getting. Oh my god, Amy, no. Putting Freddy through the goddamn window. Wait, let me see that again.
shit.
That was glorious.
Yes! Oh my god, he takes out all the windows. Holy shit. That was the ultimate Jason window scene.
That was the best.
He takes out all the frames. All the frames.
He does. That's the best.
Freddy versus Jason.
I'm pretty sure the only reason I watched any horror movies was because my older brother watched them and invited me, and I wanted to do cool stuff like him. Laugh out loud. I don't really care for them. Laugh out loud. Oh, I love them.
Yeah.
That and sci-fi. You saw Jeepers Creepers 3 the other day. It was terrible. I demanded a refund for my for my hour 145 minutes of my life back. Dude, you're right. I mean, It's done by a really bad creepoid type of dude.
That too.
But, you know, Justin Long is in the first one, and I have a soft spot for him. Always will. He's also great in Drag Me to Hell. Sam Raimi movie. Great movie.
Yeah, that's a really good movie.
I love Drag Me to Hell.
That's a really good movie, yeah.
It's not just every Friday the 13th movie that contains one or more glass smashes. It's also the Friday the 13th game that came out in 2017, where the window smashing was allegedly so OP that the developers had to slow down the animation. You can also jump out windows as a counselor, where there's an achievement for jumping through 99 windows. But is there a reason?
That's funny.
That's awesome. I didn't know that about the game.
That's funny as shit.
I have the game. I have it for the Switch.
You do?
I just never played it because it's like, yeah.
I think it's mostly a multiplayer game.
I think so, yeah.
Like, if you get a party of people together, you could play it with a party. You know, that would be cool.
That might be, yeah.
That would be neat to get a bunch of people
Reason
together.
that Jason hates windows as much as he does? I mean, obviously it started because it just looks cooler than the alternate scene where he would have just jumped out from behind a dresser, but this is a character analysis video. Maybe Jason laments his childhood being cut short, and he expresses that rage through what he sees as a juvenile activity. Think about the trope of a kid in a movie getting in trouble for breaking a window with a baseball, or in some cases, a hockey puck. There are also more symbolic interpretations you can make, like the glass representing the fragility of human life. But personally, I like the juvenile disobedience thing, and Jason is gonna act like a menace until he gets his mom back. The other interesting thing about this moment is that we get a rare glimpse at Jason unmasked. Here, he looks deformed, but still very much human, basically what you would expect from a high—
Hey guys!
Yeah, what the hell was the deal with Sloth? Like, why?
I know, right?
Why did Sloth look that way?
He fell. You hear it in the movie. Mom fell. Yeah.
He was mentally challenged individual.
Yeah, his mom dropped him on the head when he was a baby.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's the story of Sloth.
I wasn't really aware of that back.
Yeah, you gotta watch the Goonies, man.
Yeah, I gotta watch it again.
hydrocephalic child's grown up, but he now has hair, mostly on the left side of his head. We'll put a pin in this for now, but I'll continue to track the changes in his facial appearance. Ginny and Paul ultimately escaped, but Jason was not caught and continued his rampage throughout that week. Note, I'm going to assume that the next few days are sequential, which seems to be the case. So Jason's next activity would take place on June 14th, 1984, where he stalks the owners of a grocery store, killing one with a cleaver and the other with her own knitting needle.
Oh no, not Harold and Edna. I'll tell you, Harold and Edna were a good couple. Thoroughly missed. Husband worked in some really dank convenience store, and the wife tried to put everything together and always yelled at him because he was in the drink. He was in the drink.
They were just living the American dream, and they had some disgusting little pussy psychopath kid take them out.
Not fair.
It's not a good day in America when you have some kind of hydrocephalic little freak.
That's so fucking horrible. Brett King's like, you're an all-white dollar suffered.
I apologize.
Where's my mac and cheese on?
If I offended anyone with that comment, I'm sorry.
Jason continued to wander the shores of Crystal Lake, which was home to many other properties, one of which was Higgins Haven, the same spot where he had nearly killed Christy and Higgins 2 years before. At some point, Jason gives a detached eyeball to a wandering old man named Abel. It's not clear if this is another Jason victim or...
The good old detached eyeball. I saw this! You see this here? This is an eyeball! There's some trouble afoot, I'll tell you.
You know, they say in the old days that you steal a man's eyeball, you could see what he saw.
I hear you. What if you eat it?
But
Do you see what's in your stomach?
back in the 1850s, they used to say, my grandpappy said, that they used to steal the eyeballs to see.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
just an eye he had lying around from one of his previous victims, but he allegedly let Abel go as a warning.
He wanted me to have this. He wanted me to warn you.
The next day,
he wanted me to warn you, it's an eyeball!
June 15th, Christine would return to the house, wanting to prove to herself that she's strong enough to bury her past trauma. Let's just say she ended up burying more than that.
Relax. Enjoy the weekend. Nothing's gonna happen to you when we're all here together.
Wrong! When Christine and her friends arrived at the Haven, Jason would have 7 new targets on his radar. But perhaps for the first time, he found one he could identify with.
Tommy.
We're just... all the males are like, we're just here, to see, like, wet panties.
And titties.
That's all we're here for.
We just want the tits.
Like the guy's like, my mom told me it'd be good community service to be a camp counselor. And then I found out that there were going to be women there. And I said, okay, Ma, I'll do it for the love of kids. I'm here to fuck women. That's all I'm here for.
Yep.
Dear Mom, I'm making a lot of friends. I was shy at first, but Fox really liked my pitchfork, and so did her friend Loka. Their other friend Ali wanted to play too, but he had to take a nap. That's okay though, there are more friends to meet at the main house. There's one boy over there who—
Oh god, that guy is so fucking annoying. He keeps pranking people and shit. You wanted that guy to die because he was so fucking obnoxious.
Do you remember the kid with the fat guy with the candy bar chocolate all over his mouth?
Yep.
He was like sexually assaulted on the set.
Yeah.
He said, remember that?
Yep.
So messed. Like
Gavin is sexually assaulting Watermelon right now. Will you guys stop doing that in front of us as the ass licking? Like, I'm tired of it.
Who's just like me. His name is Shelly. I'm gonna go try to make friends with him. Love, Jason.
It is true that Shelly and Jason have a lot in common. For one, they tend to scare people.
Just forget about me. Oh, I'm supposed to forget that we've been friends.
Oh!
Damn it, Shelly.
What the fuck is your deal? Look at this
And like
idiot.
Jason, Shelly is also...
You're waiting for that piece of shit to die.
You really are. And his name is Shelly. What guy's name is named Shelly?
Oh, look at me. I have a fake axe on my head. What a fucking loser. You want him dead immediately.
Like, he thinks he can impress girls acting like this. They don't, like, all you're doing is annoying them.
They think you're gross. They're looking at the fucking football player.
That's
like,
true.
Like, enough. Like,
insecure
zero
about his
chance.
appearance, which is why he keeps a variety of scary masks with him at all times.
Just relax. Be yourself. Would you be yourself if you look like this?
It's a lot better than what you're doing now, man.
Well, you gotta understand. Like, you gotta... Oh, my God. This is like a basic life lesson for anybody. It's
He's
like...
just a born incel, honey.
You're born with what you got. And then, you know, some people ruin what they got. Like, you know, you got someone like Mickey Rourke. That looked like a very quintessential masculine Hollywood man. And then he went to a facial surgeon.
I don't get what they do to their faces. I honestly, like, stop it with the fillers and the fucking shit. You look awful. You look like some kind of plastic version of yourself. It's stupid looking.
You got Mickey Rourke in the street, and he's screaming like, Trump's a bitch, and he can barely say it because his lips are, like, paralyzed.
I know, that's what I don't get. What is with these women and their lip fillers? They can't feel their lips. So you're taking away the ability to kiss.
I'll call him out right now. Donald Trump is a bitch. And they're like, what, Mickey? What'd you say? What did you say? We can't understand you. Did you just get lip fillers, Mick? Fuck you. Trump is a bitch. I remember that, man. I think he was blasted drunk, and he was just walking through the street. And TMZ is like, holy shit, it's Mickey Rourke.
What the fuck is with my fucking broadcast?
It got disconnected.
No, it's still going.
No, it's still going.
I just can't find the chat. It
What
says
the hell
once
happened?
the broadcast has been created, your chat will appear.
You gotta reconnect the bitch.
I think I do, man.
You're connected, okay. Where's the chat? Chat is dead, folks. Sorry, we see you in the window.
I know.
Oh my god, yeah, I'm sorry. I just have these thoughts that are rambling through. And I'll tell you, like, Voorhees is just an incel. That's the conclusion. And all characters like this, because all they focus on is males that are getting laid. And they kill them. Like, that's the entire fucking storyline.
There we go, I did it. I fixed it. I don't know how I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha.
Camp Crystal Lake, where there's sex and blood. Like, literally. That's like the whole story.
It's all ritualistic at the end of the day.
Yeah, Diddy would love to be at Camp Crystal Lake as Jason. You
Ah.
know? He's just sitting in a chair just doing it. You know?
Jason previously wore a bag over his head, but hasn't found a replacement since it was removed 2 days earlier. But when Jason sees Shelly pull a prank on one of the girls where he rises out of the lake with a hockey mask and spear gun, he becomes very interested in this mask. Maybe
Aren't you impressed by me? Do you want to suck my dick?
Look at you.
You just waited for this guy to die in this movie. You really did. It's like, God, can you get rid of him?
Don't you understand that when it comes to a fucking cast and movie and like this, it's all based on superficial looks? You're on the bottom of the totem pole, bud. You're zero.
That's true.
Like, you're not going to... Even the chick that's, like, not really outgoing and willing to take her top off at the lake, you're not getting her either.
Well, that's true, Mr. Mordaunt. Diddy would drown people in baby oil. He probably already has.
He's probably drowned, like, babies in baby oil. Like, he's
a freak.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because seeing Shelly emerge from the lake to scare someone reminds him of himself.
That'll teach you a valuable lesson. A beautiful girl like you should never go out in the dark alone.
What?
A beautiful girl like you should never go out in the dark alone.
That's extreme.
That's so grapey.
That's the point of it, of course.
Ew.
Because he's a fucking weirdo.
Ew. Like, go to jail.
There's not a
Just go to jail.
woman. There's not a woman desperate enough. Never.
No.
Look at me. I got an axe in my head. They're literally wanting to vomit on you.
Ew.
Like you're gross.
Correct.
No one wants it.
No.
Okay.
No, not one person.
None.
What kind of lesson is that? Anyways, Jason also sort of teaches lessons with his kills, because he especially likes to target teens and young adults who are distracted by their vices.
See, that was beautiful. He's on top
No.
of her, and they're just embracing each other. That's a pretty moment, too. He's looking at her. She's in her bathing suit.
Okay, so you're going to be a weirdo, and basically you're saying, like Voorhees is avenging Angel against sin. That's crazy.
He's definitely tracking these people down in their own private residence on what they fucking are doing.
Yeah.
It's not right. I don't care how close it is to your lake. You shouldn't be doing this to these people.
The incel psychotic behavior. Like,
That's
literally.
true.
Seriously, like that dude with the bushy hair with the girl, and he chopped her up and put her in, like, a garbage bins around the town.
That's true.
It's that shit.
Yep.
They're freaks.
giddified.
Yes. Itchy and Itchy the Killer. Like, he doesn't have the will to essay a woman himself, but he wants to.
Ew.
It's so disgusting. It's repulsive.
Such as premarital relations and drugs. This is why the counselors were distracted and could not save him when he fell in the lake as a kid. But by getting revenge on anyone who does that kind of stuff, he's inadvertently discouraging that kind of behavior. All of this is to say that he has even more in common with Shelly, so he decides that he's going to become him. He slits the fat boy's throat and steals his gear.
Finally. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much how you feel when you're watching the movie, is just finally with that character.
No, there should have been a way better death for him. Like, he strapped him up to a fucking car battery.
Yeah.
You know?
Probably.
Zapped his testicles with a car battery. And...
Now, the newer Friday the 13th are not bad, by the way.
Are they not bad? I don't remember.
No, they're not.
I don't remember.
And with that, his iconic costume is finally complete. His first use of the hockey mask is to trick the girl, Vera. By the time she realizes it's not Shelly rising out of the water again, it's too late, and she gets shot through her eye.
Right in the eyeball.
That's like a crusty video. Skyrim, you know, right in the fucking eye.
Yeah. Crossbow right in the eye, man. You're done. You're done.
This is what you get for being a disgusting fucking sinner.
How dare you?
Okay,
And
you
with
want
Spear.
premarital
The rest of the
sex.
friend group would follow soon after. His sixth sense for illicit material leads him to Andy, who is headed down.
Look at, they're
Yeah.
just making love.
Uh-huh.
They're just making love.
Voorhees the incel goes, not on my time.
No.
And he
no.
takes a fucking machete and splits them in half. Why?
I know. Yeah, I know. They were just enjoying each other.
Let's just have some fun and like tussle around in the bed. Nope.
No.
Your fun is not allowed.
Oh, that's sad.
The weird incel bizarre freak.
Yeah, I like this guy's character. He was fun.
You liked him?
Yeah, he was funny.
Okay.
And she was sweet.
Yeah, she was sweet.
That was unnecessary, Jason.
Stairs to grab a beer after hooking up with
He's
his
an
girlfriend
asshole.
Debbie.
Incel.
Double mistake. Andy gets hacked in half while doing a handstand, and Debbie, after noticing her boyfriend's blood dripping from the ceiling above her, is stabbed through the hammock she's relaxing on. Chuck and Chili are the stoner couple, so Jason throws him into an electrical box and
It's not right what they did to freaking Cheech and Sean in the movie, man.
Nah.
Nah, they were just this old stoner couple. Fucking loved them and adored them in this movie.
I know.
They were a good time.
It's wrong.
It is.
But everything about this is wrong. Why are you it's like, what is this, Catholic?
I
like
know,
avenging
right?
angel of sin.
That's true.
How dare you have this premarital sex? And it's so you can't engage in this behavior, youth. And we will put a chastity belt on every female.
I'm sorry. I'm always going to be, like, make love, not war. I'm always going to be for that.
We're going to put a chastity belt around every single fucking female. And they're brood mares. We use them to breed. This is America, you know?
For we are Catholics, and that is the Catholic way.
Every sperm is sacred and must be respected. It's a child. Do you understand this?
pokes her with a red-hot fire poker. Christine's boyfriend, Rick, goes outside to look around, and Jason captures him, covering his mouth as Chris calls out for him, not bashing his head in until after she goes back inside. It's not
See, that's some brutal shit.
That was great. He squeezed his head until his freaking eyeball popped out. That was great.
They were always some of my favorite ones for Friday the 13th when he'd pop the eyes out of the skull.
It's
just
so
squeezes,
cartoonish looking.
I know that. He just squeezes their head and their eyes fly out. It's sick. That's sick. That's sick. I like it. Okay.
I think he's just so jealous, and jealousy makes people do shit like that. That might be.
He wants a counselor girl to play with her fucking pussy. He wants that. But he can't have it because he's Voorhees, and he looks like a hydrocephalic freak. So no woman looks at him.
I don't blame him, really. I mean...
No!
Getting your cooter played with is very fun.
And it's fun for the male to play with.
There you go.
Okay.
Happy Friday the 13th, Pancake.
Pancakes in the house, what's up? Listen to me. What male wouldn't want to play the video game? It's a video game deal. Okay? That's going to be some of the best games when they come out on VR, is like hentai games.
Okay, hon.
Seriously. Fun.
God, I'm going to see Jason.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not, though. Because that's not appropriate. If I were single, that would be okay.
Matthew Pancake said he'd date Jason Voorhees.
All right. He's a bear, so...
That's true.
If you were into the aggressive bear male, I think Voorhees is your...
The Kane Hotters.
The Kane Hotter, yeah, big dude.
entirely clear why he does this, but I have to assume that because Christine got away from him before, he wants to scare her as much as possible. Like a good horror director, he wants to build up the tension as much as possible before she discovers him, which he does by staging the bodies for her to find them. Then, when she's at her most vulnerable, he releases all of the tension by defenestrating her boyfriend. What is defenestration, you ask? It's the act of throwing someone out a window. This will be a...
He defenestrated him.
Defenestrate. Okay, I like that.
The defenestration.
There's an actual word for that, throwing someone out of a window.
I thought at first he said defeminization.
I thought that too. I'm like, how? Did he cut off his wiener or something?
Did he kill the man?
Pancake wants to be dominated, so...
All right.
You want a Mongolian.
Oh my God.
In the vocab.
Pancake
and if it was ever going to come up...
Genghis Khan.
Ooh. That would be a power fuck, Pancake. Genghis Khan.
Do you think that, like, how... I mean, he had so much experience plowing everything. How would that be? Like,
I have no idea. Ooh, Gary Oldman in Dracula? Absolutely Lois Lane.
Jesus Christ. Okay, not when he's an old freak.
Oh, I love Gary Oldman. The
yeah,
top hat.
The top hat and the glasses, you like that.
Yummy.
But not the old freak.
Gary Oldman's yummy.
Gary Oldman was... I think he was the best part of Harry Potter.
Sirius Black?
Nope. I think he was the best part of Harry Potter.
Yeah, Sirius Black.
Yeah, his character was awesome. I mean,
well, it was bound to be in a video about Jason. And by the way, the built-up tension to this point was worth it, because her scream is pretty great when Jason's intimidating stature appears in the window frame.
Absolutely.
It's got to be one of the best ones I've ever heard.
You know,
Chase takes her through the house, out the window, and into the van
probably.
where she tries to escape, but it gets stuck on the bridge, allowing Jason to strangle her in the open driver's side window. Christine uses this to her advantage by rolling up the window and trapping him there, until he gets the bright idea.
Good thing it's not one of those electrical window openers. It was one of the ones that, you know...
Crank.
Yeah, you could crank it back in the day.
Well, the remake of Night of the Living Dead, I love that.
I know.
When
I want a van like that and put a freaking bed in it. I want to live in a van like that.
Yeah, a pussy wagon.
I do.
I do too.
I want a pussy wagon.
Let's get a pussy wagon and drive all around the United States.
That'd be awesome.
We meet everybody.
Yeah, to just face bash through it, like Nathan Explosion trying to get a sausage at the deli counter.
Sausages.
Christine attempts to barricade herself in the barn, which might be a good plan if you had a cell phone and you were trying to stall while waiting for help to arrive, but that's not the case here in 1984. But after he inevitably gets in and ransacks the barn, he still doesn't find her until he's attacked from above, which doesn't do a whole lot.
No, Heath Ledger as Joker is yes, ma'am, to me too. Like, yes, I want that. Yes, Heath. Oh.
As Joker?
It don't matter.
No. You want Heath in
10 Things I Hate About You?
Well, he's very charming in that.
But it affords her.
But no, like, come on, A Knight's Tale, right? He looked crazy.
Oh, A Knight's Tale. Heath Ledger in A Knight's Tale. Wow.
What movie did he have the super long hair? It's 10 Things I Hate About You, isn't it?
Yes.
That was his longest hair.
I love you, baby. You
Yeah,
say
I
that
know.
so good. Oh my god, I love 10 Things I Hate About You.
I do too.
Oh, I love you, Heath. I miss you.
He should not be gone.
Enough time to hide up in the loft and
Mary
get the
Kate
sneak strike
Nash
on him with a
Olsen.
shovel when he comes looking. This incapacitates him. Remember, this was the same iteration of Jason that got knocked down by the car door. He's still relatively human in terms of how much abuse he can handle. While he's out, Chris ties a rope around his neck and shoves him out the window,
Lois wants him
presumably
as Joker.
executing
Holy
him.
shit.
But when she heads downstairs to let herself out, he
You
comes to
think
life
he's
and
hot
pulls
as
himself up
Joker?
out
That's crazy.
She likes the crazy long-haired guys.
Grr. Okay.
of the gallows, removing his mask as he does so. Chris sees the face she couldn't make herself forget.
You see my face? I'm ugly. I am the Jason. Rah.
The one that
UPS
attacked her
guy.
2 summers prior.
That's what we're
This
going
brings
to
up
do.
what many see as a pretty bad continuity error.
No. My Joker will always be Mark Hamill. Always.
When we saw Jason's face at the end of part 2, just a couple of days before, he had long hair and a beard. Now, in part 3, he's bald and clean shaven. Some will point to this as evidence of the multiple Jasons theory. However, the facial construction and messed up teeth are the same. I don't think it's crazy to assume that Jason would try shaving to change his appearance after Ginny gave his description to the police in order to try to...
That could be so. He could be shaven. You know, he may not be as stupid as people say he is.
Pancake.
That
you
seems
could
a lot more
probably
likely than
look on
Pamela
Etsy
finding
for
2
that.
people
You
with
could
the
probably
exact
find
same
a-
facial
like a
deformity.
replica
It's
of
like he
that
remembers
pretty
her
accurate
and wants her to
on
suffer the
Etsy.
most because she escaped last time. Jason would have a history of continuing to go after his targets until he can catch them. But he also has a history of being easily distracted, which is what happens when Ali, the
Cesar
motorcyclist
Romero.
from earlier, comes back for round 2. This time, Ali is...
Oh god, the stupid motorcyclist in that movie. They're like mean to these people for no fucking reason.
Are we on 3 now?
And yeah, this is the
3?
third one. This is a barn. This is where he gets his mask.
That's bullshit. Like,
Yeah, you know, and you know, these stupid fucking bikers come up and try to beat the shit out of him, and he kills all of them
I'm really sorry,
in the barn.
but here's the facts.
Yeah.
Can we just agree as a community? Because I think I've watched enough of these movies along with everybody. These movies mostly suck.
Correct.
They're pretty subpar.
They're cheesy horror you watch with your friends just to laugh at it.
I mean, that's pretty much what you're dealing with. This isn't like Master of Horror stuff like, Event Horizon.
No, this isn't Hitchcock type film.
It's
no.
not The Birds or Psycho. This is low bar, pathetically almost juvenile writing, stupidity.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Is a bit short-handed. Literally, Jason slices the guy's hand off. It oftentimes feels like the general consensus is that Jason is stupid, but as I pointed out earlier, that's not the case. He's actually kind of clever, manipulating what his victims see to...
You want me to do Michelle? Meow.
Oh.
She's my favorite Catwoman, too.
Oh, what did she say?
Luring people to certain
I am woman, hear me roar.
I am woman, hear me roar.
What about Christopher Walken in that movie is phenomenal.
Oh, of course.
Oh my God,
that's my favorite Batman movie. Is Batman Returns.
Returns is phenomenal, but
and you got Danny DeVito in it.
He's phenomenal.
Come on.
No, come on, no.
No.
See, like you have people now have different ideas now. People have different ideas now on the whole character of Joker. It's been completely fucking. It's gone everywhere now.
Oh well.
Like you had Jared Leto playing it. That was the worst. Okay, Jared Leto playing Joker was the worst.
Well, now he's playing Jesus, so.
A fake Jesus.
Let's watch this.
Locations and disguising himself to blend in and get people to
give me more cowbell. You know you ruined my life. You ruined my life.
Christopher Walken. What show was he on? He was telling a story. What show was it?
No, it wasn't him.
It was Will Ferrell.
It was Will Ferrell on Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
Talking about the cowbell scene.
Yes.
And then Christopher Walken goes up to him one day. And then he's like, you know, you ruined my life. You know, I'm just sitting there wanting my bolognese and everyone's wanting more cowbells.
Now, I can't go into my favorite restaurant in Manhattan because they asked me for cowbell when I asked for the fucking bolognese. You know you ruined my life, you cocksucker. This is the only restaurant I ever went to. I even did the little dance for the manager. I did the little weapon dance. Do you remember the video I was in? I won the big shit for it. The weapon video. I did the dance for him and everything, and you ruined my fucking life with this cowbell bullshit, and I can't even get bolognese now.
Drop their guard. So why is it so common to see him get so close to killing one victim, only to get distracted and turn his attention away completely? I mean, the filmmaking reason is to extend the suspense, but as I mentioned earlier, I think that can also extend to Jason's motivation. He wants Christine to be afraid for as long as possible, because when he was an 11-year-old boy drowning in that lake, it was probably a slow and terrifying death. This time, however, the distraction created by Ali works against him, because Christine finds an axe and strikes him in the head. For the second time, Jason Voorhees is—
Dude, take the axe out and chop his head off.
Why
don't they ever double tap?
I agree. Do you know what my question is, though?
What?
Why did Voorhees go dark side? Because he was an innocent kid that just got murdered.
Maybe he was dark-sided to begin with.
Him
and his mother.
If they were into the Necronomicon.
Maybe he did a bunch of bad things to those kids, and that's why he always got picked on, because he was mean to the kids. And the kids just finally had it.
Well, that's speculation.
Of course.
Is killed.
But his behavior...
That would not be...
Yeah, weapon of choice, Moby.
Jason Voorhees is a fictional supernatural slasher known for killing a lot of victims in each movie he appeared in. But is that the only thing he killed? Now that he's gained his emblematic hockey mask, I wanted to explore the idea that Jason also killed the retro goalie mask in our world. I found an article about the evolution of goalie masks in hockey, which was a great resource, taking the reader through the history of protection.
You mean Jason, they changed the hockey masks purposely in hockey because of Jason Voorhees? That's awesome.
Okay, Pat Pancakes goes, he brought his mother back to get rid of all the counselors. That's canon. That's actual story. He brought her back to kill all of them.
Yeah, the kids pushed him in the water and didn't save him.
Yeah, they bullied the shit out of him and threw him in the water to drown.
And then he went dark and evil.
The first goalie to wear a mask in organized hockey, Elizabeth Graham, who tended the net for Queen's University in 1927. I couldn't find a picture of her wearing the mask, but it was said to be a fencing mask, so it might have looked something like this. The mask took a number of forms over the years from 1927 to 1959, when Montreal Canadiens goaltender Jacques Plante regularly wore what is sometimes described as the face-hugging mask, which may sound like something from the Alien franchise, but the biggest pop culture moment
His mother brought him back to kill the counselors.
Oh, with the Necronomicon. Yeah.
Okay, Pancakes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It was indeed in the Friday the 13th series with Jason. The face-hugging mask proved to be a canvas for some creative designs, but the Hockey Hall of Fame and the Evolution of Hockey Masks article both cite the switch to the birdcage masks happening in the early 1980s. Jason got his mask in Friday the 13th Part 3, which came out in 1982. So I wanted to find...
See, I told you he got his mask in Part 3. Mm-hmm. I've watched these movies so many damn times.
Out when the switch actually started to happen, and if Jason was a reason for the change.
The hockey mask was a good idea.
Probably I don't know.
styles. So I pulled up some footage and looked at every team's starting goalie in the 1982 season and found that of the 21 teams, 14 starting goalies used the birdcage style mask and only 7 still had facehuggers. So no, Jason did not kill that style of mask. It was already on the way out. If anything, he might have revived its popularity with kids and prolonged it. And speaking of revival, on June 16th, 1984, Jason was lying in a morgue in the Wessex County Medical Center, where the
hot tub scene. That was inappropriate. They should have let them finish. I mean, the nurse had nice tits. Just saying.
Way back,
was flirting with one
so
of the
there
nurses
is an
and
actual Camp Crystal Lake, New Jersey.
Yes, there
we
is.
need to go there.
Yeah,
I have not been there.
Immediately after doing this,
So that's a
Jason
video.
begins to stir. It's almost as if even the suggestion of premarital activities is enough to bring Jason back to put a stop to it. Axel moves the body to cold storage, but
like why?
I smell pussy getting wet.
No, seriously, I'm trying to understand that. This is
I
probably
think it was a way how to make kids afraid of premarital sex, but it didn't work. It actually just made them horny.
right. Because these would be the movies you'd probably put into inch you up to the.
These are the movies I've made out with guys and gotten my freak on over.
Right, because it opens it up.
Yeah.
The sex scene comes on and it's like, oh, you just get that. Like,
Yeah, like, ooh, that looks like that feels good.
yeah, and then you start.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when you do that. Okay, that's a tip for males. You know, if you don't know how to get the game on, when the fucking scene they're making out or something, that's when your arm should go on either their back or lower than the back, if you know what I mean.
There you go.
That's your move. Do it.
But Jason gets out and serrates the medical examiner's neck with a bone cutter. Soon after, he catches up with the nurse and runs a scalpel through her torso. After escaping, Jason...
Or is that... No, that's Mike Myers with the hot tub scene.
Yes.
Oh, God.
In the hospital.
Yeah, that's Mike Myers. Ron Killer.
And he cooks the girl. It's insane.
Yeah, it is.
Ends up heading back towards Crystal Lake, arriving in the area during the day on June 18th. I'm assuming that it was the 18th because Jason's body went missing from the morgue on the 16th, and it looks to be late at night, seeing as how Axel and Nurse Morgan appear to be the last ones there. So they would be discovered by the morning shift on the 17th and included in the next day's newspaper on the 18th. He takes out at least one person on the way, a hippie hitchhiker with a Canada in love sign who he stabs in the neck.
What the hell?
Canada. Fat girl. Booty.
Oh, and she was begging for a Whopper.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, hey, I'll blow you for a Whopper. Got a fucking a cardboard sign, blowy for Whopper.
There you go.
Yeah.
Represents the hippie movement of the 60s and 70s, which stood for peace and wanderlust. She's the cultural opposite of Jason Voorhees, who stands for violence and staying in one place. He ends up at a small rural neighborhood that's within walking distance from the lake. It consists of 2 houses, one belonging to Mrs. Jarvis, who lives there with her 2 kids and dog, and the other is a rental property, which is rented by 6 kids to party.
Yes, that dance! Do it again!
Jarvis,
the
who lives
dance
there with
is
her 2 kids
amazing.
and dog, and the other is a rental property, which is rented by 6 kids to party in that summer.
That is so white.
That is the whitest white dance ever, and
Holy
I love it
shit.
so much.
It's like he got electrocuted with a cattle prod in the anus. Go back.
And dog, and the other is a
Watch
rental
this.
property, which is rented by 6 kids to party in that summer. When they arrive,
He literally got
That was him actually dancing.
he
in
got
the movie.
cattle prodded in the chode.
I know.
You know, they put like a fucking one of those buzzers in his fucking underpants.
I know, right?
kids and dog, and the other is a rental property, which is rented by 6 kids to party in that summer. When they arrive,
Oh my god.
What the fuck is that dance? I've always wondered that.
That's not a dance.
they immediately
That's
begin drinking and
whiteness.
hooking up, which may explain why Jason was drawn to the area. The following night, June 19th, he encounters one of them by the lake. If Jason were to list his accomplishments in a postcard to his mom, it would look something like this.
I got the girl in the dinghy with my knife. The boy who came looking
Oh yeah, she was butt-ass naked. I remember that. They were skinny dipping.
Yeah.
That sucks.
for her with Shelley's spear gun.
Why you chop up
Ow! Right in his ass!
in his asshole?
Ow!
I just missed the one camping in the woods, but I wrecked all his
That's a
stuff.
good one.
One twin sister got caught with me in the rain. One boy needed help finding the corkscrew.
Hey, Ted, where the hell's corkscrew?
Right there, motherfucker.
I got your fucking corkscrew.
The other twin sister got too close to a window.
Of course, the window.
Where else? He's not going to ever use a fucking door.
No, he has to crash through the window.
Why the hell would you use a door when you can dramatically jump through a window?
I guess so.
That's his way
Get
of
all
it.
cut up and shit.
It's
I
the
guess.
Voorhees way. His dad used to jump through fucking windows.
You want me to go camping with you?
Cool.
While I'm talking about this? Oh, hell nah. Hell nah. I'm smart enough not to do that shit.
You know how I hate windows. And a boy named Teddy spent a little too much time watching something he shouldn't have in front of the TV.
Oh yeah, he was smoking the freaking leftover weed.
I don't remember
And
that.
he was high off his ass,
This is-
looking at like old porno.
This is still 3?
Yes.
He was smoking weed and looking at old porno?
Yes.
No, seriously, Teddy finds this old stag film reel, and he finds it absolutely hilarious. One of the prime examples of fictional characters being entertained by something that isn't remotely entertaining. Because 10 minutes later, he's still laughing at it just as hard, and a full 5 minutes after that, he seems even more enamored with it.
Some folks have a strange eye.
Oh my god, it's Mel Gibson right now.
Oh, Jesus Christ. How did that happen?
He literally looks
I
like
know
that.
it's true though. You're right.
Wait.
Oh Jesus, we gotta give prayers to Mel so that he correctly makes the resurrection movie. You know, he said it's an acid trip. I mean, it is. There's undeniable. Yeah. It's the silver fox look he's got now.
I know, the fucking hairy motherfucker.
He looks cool as
now.
shit. Like, that's a cool look. If you're gonna be older, go for that. That's a cool look.
Mel Gibson?
Yes.
Same.
The same.
The same.
The same. I want to watch him on Rogan. I really want to watch that whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be
like
good.
Mel.
What?
You look like this guy.
It's a cool look, though, kind of.
All right.
It works for him.
Idea entertainment.
It's too bad he died. He'd be the ideal subscriber. I could just put out anything I'd want and he'd love it. Anyway, Jason blindsigns a boy named Doug in the shower and crushes his face.
His name is Doug. I don't blame him.
He crushed his face in the shower.
My mom's church banned people from seeing the Da Vinci Code, but put on buses to see the Passion of the Christ. Oh, Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
some people can be so judgmental.
I remember when the first Da Vinci Code movie came out, a bunch of the Catholic girls were there. Like that Shannon I told you about, that was in my class. She was there.
Yeah.
And lots of Catholics came to see that, the Da Vinci Code. They like that whole idea.
I think they do. They want Jesus.
Yeah, they want him to have had children. I don't know why they're so obsessed with that.
I don't know either. It
the
doesn't
genetics,
really matter.
the genetics, just no. He had a very unique. He had one gene, one fucking single gene for his father. That's weird genetics. It's not going to work.
I don't think so.
Against the wall. And when his girlfriend Sarah finds him, she raises a panic, but Jason silences that alarm by throwing an axe through her chest. And with that, the household of scandalous teens is dead, leaving just the Jarvis family and Robert, who's the brother of Sandra, who Jason speared 6 days before. So now
them both together.
Yep.
Let's do that again. Let's
do the Corey Feldman shit.
Can't you just? I don't understand why it has to be the point of contention that it's always intercourse and fucking. That this is like what? Why is he so obsessed with that?
I don't know. It's just the rules.
Was that the last thing he saw?
There's an interesting detail as Jason is destroying the Jarvis's telephone line. His hands are pale and rotting, and his fingernails are black and overgrown. This is not the result of Jason joining some kind of industrial metal band. It seems now that he's been killed for a second time, his body is experiencing a zombification, and he's beginning his transformation into a Deadite. And just like the most iconic Deadites, his next move would be to wait down in the basement, where he would eventually kill Robert with what appears to be a gardening claw, thereby ending Robert's bid to avenge his sister. He breaks through the underside of the stairs to try to get a hold of his next victim, Mrs. Jarvis's teenage daughter, Trish, who finds Jason has decorated the rental house with all of that.
We have a teenage daughter.
After escaping back to her own house, she does everything she can to protect her little brother, Tommy Jarvis, who is nearly abducted by the hockey mask.
Tommy.
Yep.
Tommy. And a Tommy. Tommy. You have Tommy in fucking
die.
But you have you have Tommy in Halloween too.
You do.
Remember Jamie Lee Curtis? You know, she's like, Tommy, shut the fuck up or you're going to bed.
Shut up, Tommy.
It's the boogeyman. The boogeyman. Shut up, Tommy. You're going to bed now, you little fuck.
She didn't say that.
I know. I'm kidding around, man.
At which point Jason shows them he means business by busting through the Jarvis's front door. See, if there's anything Jason...
I'm sorry, I
can't. You could do it.
My ears suck. Oh.
hates most, other than camp counselors and windows, it's doors. And since he came back from the dead 3 days ago, he seems to have more strength than ever before, which he takes full advantage of from here on out. Rollers.
I am Voorhees, destroyer of doorways and windows.
He would use his new ability to corner Trish and Tommy in an upstairs bedroom. But could he
Why is it when he's pushing through the door, it's like sparks? Does he have like spark energy or something?
It's a movie, honey.
I know, he's coming through. He's evolving.
actually get the job done this time and take out his final targets?
Well, do you remember?
Not Tommy.
Do you remember for the big finale, the way they blow him apart and Jason goes to hell?
Yeah.
They have like John Woo sparkler shit everywhere.
I know.
Remember? It's like white phosphorus going off all over the place, and he just, they explode his entire body apart. Jason Voorhees.
With Trish and Tommy Jarvis pushed to the back corner of Tommy's room, Jason seems to have the two dead to rights. But the RCA Corporation has other...
I don't know any of Jelly Roll's songs, so I can't do it.
Other ideas. Because Trish smashes a big old 80s TV over his head, putting him out cold on the floor. Though, we would find out if he survived a lot faster than...
80s TV? It's called an RCA TV. Get it right.
I only talk to God when I need a savior.
I don't know why that sounds so big,
And
but
I
anyway.
only talk to God when I ain't got a prayer.
It's Stu.
So
Dumacher, the Scream character, we still don't know the status of after 28 years. More chasing ensues, and there's a pretty cool shot of him in the doorway right here, but it ends back at the Jarvis house, where Trish gets a hold of the machete and uses it to cut Jason's hand in half. But this hardly seems to slow him down at all.
She don't take shit, man. She just swinging it. She's got none like, oh, am I gonna hurt him? No, she means business.
No, I would totally have my great-grandfather Harvey's Louisville Slugger.
That'd be great.
I'd wreck his skull. He'd be done.
There you go.
But you can crack his skull. It doesn't matter. He's going to keep coming. Because he's a deadite. He's undead. This is a really great video because I got more detail now. I understand more of what Voorhees is.
I got nobody to save me except Jesus Christ.
Well, that's what that Jelly Roll song's basically
I
about.
guess.
And that's pretty great. It's a good message to have on the radio.
As a YouTuber, not a doctor, the further he gets in his transformation to Deadite, the less human pain he's able to feel. We see a machete chop to the chest does nothing. The only thing that can stop him is the same vulnerability that Ginny exploited the week prior. Tommy, an expert special effects enthusiast, comes downstairs, having shaved his head to resemble the police sketch.
Hell yeah. Tommy's the shit. Oh my God. It's our favorite part.
Corey, he's in best form here. This is probably his best moment in history.
It probably
is.
Like,
look at this masterful costume.
It's great.
And he's like, hey, Jason, it's you. It's me. It's you. See?
We're combining into a different person now.
And then iconic. It's just die.
And then Jason like possesses him.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Isn't that cool?
Jason does pass body through body, I think.
That's part of his ability. Like
I think so.
I don't know if that was the way it was when he resurrected, or like he's always had that power, or he's developed more powers over the years, more occult power. I don't know. But he's undead. We know that now. It's confirmed.
Yes.
He's a fucking zombie.
I will be right back, guys. It's a cat. Water.
Jason from when he emerged from the lake in 1979. Jason seems to have a weak spot for figures.
It's hard to eat when you're doing a show. All right, it looks like
resembling his mother or resembling himself. Again, Jason is not that stupid. I think the
Sorry about that, folks. Yep.
Bio breaks are always important deals.
Let me put this back a few. There we go.
But guys, share our podcast around because, like, I think at this point we're doing a pretty pro thing.
Jason from when he emerged.
Sounds good, looks good, all that good. Oh my God!
Stop.
Shanny, sing for us.
Jason seems to have a weak spot for figures.
I'm empty. I'm sorry.
You're empty.
I got no songs in my head right now.
Yeah, I know. I only talk to God when I need a favor. It was on every day.
And I'm like, why do you only talk to God when you need a favor?
That's the point of the song. But he says, then who the hell am I or you to ask for a savior? Because we only talk to him when we need a favor.
Well, I never really heard the song, so
that's the song.
There you go.
That's the point of it.
Resembling his mother or resembling himself. Again, Jason is not that stupid. I think the only reason this works on him is because he knows that the magic of the Necronomicon is at play. So being approached by a younger version of himself doesn't seem that out of the question. Jason would be confronted with himself one more time later down the timeline, but we'll get to that in a little.
I love that one.
Jason takes on Manhattan.
That's my favorite one. Next, I think my two favorites are Jason Goes to Hell and 8. Manhattan.
I also like the one with the grown-up Tommy, and he's in the jail. That one.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
That is a good one.
That's coming next.
Yeah, it is.
After we get over the Corey Feldman, because it's the same character, Tommy.
Yes.
The distraction allows Trish to knock his mask off with a machete blow to the head, giving us an updated look at his face. He's now developed wrinkles and scarring. Remember, all three of these face pics happen over the course of a week, which I think supports the idea that he's undergoing a supernatural transformation. The removal of the mask allows Tommy Jarvis to pick up the dropped blade and make a much deeper gash into the silent stalker's face. This still doesn't get the job done, though. Jason's fingers can be seen moving, so Tommy goes, well, I think we can just call it full Tommy Jarvis mode, slashing the seemingly eternal villain over and over.
Show it! That is his greatest moment ever in all cinema.
Yeah, but that moment actually opened him up to demons.
Yeah. Interesting.
It opened him up to possession.
That's interesting.
Jason appears to die for real this time, with headlines like Jason Voorhees slain and killing spree ends in Crystal Lake. Ironically, he was buried in a place called Eternal Peace Cemetery, but his rest would be anything but eternal. In 1988 or 1989, a local man stole Jason's persona to commit a series of murders, but was killed shortly thereafter, giving the community confidence that the fear of a Crystal Lake killer was something that they could.
And then Tommy wants to make sure he's dead, and he goes to his grave.
Behind in the
I personally
Lily's asking. My favorite is Jason Takes Manhattan, but it's like Jason Takes Manhattan. It's the 8th one. It's Friday the 13th Part 8. It jointly, I'd say, along with Jason Goes to Hell. Those two, like I think they're both just as good in terms of a movie.
Yeah, you're right.
Cool.
Because of this, they renamed the whole area to Forest Green, from Forest Green County to Lake Forest Green, all the way down to Camp Forest Green, which was also relocated to a smaller part of the lake.
No one in Forest Green wants to be reminded of what that maniac did here. That's why we changed the name.
But the people of Forest Green will soon learn that no matter what you do in the present, you can't stop the effects of the past from resurfacing. The first one to learn this lesson was a young Rennie Wickham, who was boating on the lake with her uncle when he pushed her in.
Oh, that freak.
What the fuck? Why would
I
you push
remember that. That's that disgusting freak.
I know.
Old guy in 8.
Yeah.
He's a freak. Disgusting.
Why would you do that?
Gross freak.
Young Jason Voorhees pulled her further under the water. Rennie would escape, but continued to be haunted by the memory. While this loose spirit seemed to be confined to the lake bed, Tommy Jarvis was plagued by Jason in a different way. Psychological hallucinations. On Thursday, June 12, 1990...
That's true. This is the same character that Corey played.
Yeah.
Just older.
Just older.
I don't know why they didn't
Because
add Corey
he
to
wasn't
it.
old enough. They went further in his life than Corey aged.
Okay.
You get it?
Then I guess that would make sense.
Yes, it makes sense.
Now all grown up, he set out
was
to
a great
destroy
actor.
Jason's
This
corpse,
guy's
thinking
great.
it would put an end
He
to
did
his
a great
psychological
job.
trauma. But upon seeing the man who nearly killed his whole family, he goes full Tommy Jarvis mode again, repeatedly impaling the remains of the legendary killer with a fence post. But then, the plan backfires.
I love how he says Tommy Jarvis mode.
That's great. that literally is just you stab until you can't stab anymore.
Yeah.
And then you stab more.
Exactly.
Die!
You don't just double tap. You quadruple tap.
You split his fucking skull in half with a blade. You know?
I think I've been to Gettysburg like once on a school field trip.
I've been to Gettysburg probably 20 times.
Yeah.
No, not that many. 15. 15 times at least. And every time I saw ghostly apparitions walking around. In the day.
So. We should go to Gettysburg together.
We need to do videos of this. Centralia.
Yeah.
Gettysburg.
All the ghostly places.
We'll go to we got to go to Philly to see City Hall.
Ooh.
Because they said it's built like a Roman fucking Coliseum.
Yeah.
I want to see
I want to see it too.
I never
As a bolt of lightning strikes the post twice, sending an electric current through Jason's body, which somehow revives him for a third time.
Yeah, if Tommy Jarvis didn't attack him, Jason wouldn't have came back.
That's true.
Obviously, this is a reference to Frankenstein, where a scientist harnesses the power of lightning as the electrical energy needed to create.
Maybe since he was possessed with Jason Voorhees, maybe his spirit went back into his body. Since Tommy was useless and could like repress the Jason Voorhees spirit.
So Tommy actually does get possessed by Jason's spirit.
I think so.
I didn't know that. I thought he was resisting all of it, and he never got possessed.
He resisted it, yeah, but I think him going near Jason Voorhees' body, his spirit went back into
Tommy.
No, back into Jason Voorhees' body.
Oh.
Yeah, and he reanimated.
So his spirit, you're saying that Tommy Jarvis had the spirit of Voorhees in him when he was a child and doing the die thing?
Yeah, that's when Jason possessed him.
Okay. And he had that in him.
That's why he kept seeing Jason everywhere.
Okay. Wow, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Year of stitched together body parts. Don't try that at home. How this applies to Jason is not really clear. If the first and second revival were a result of the Necronomicon and the need to punish high libido, is the lightning strike just dumb chance? I think not. It's because of the specific choice to have lightning strike the same spot twice, something that is said to be impossible. Maybe Pamela Voorhees was pulling
I am going to
from the
punish
or
your high libido.
Maybe.
This is propaganda from the Catholic Church.
It might be.
The Necronomicon's curse dictates that anytime there's a chance to bring Jason back, it will happen. Only one thing is sure. Jason lives. As you might assume, this Jason no longer looks human at all, taking on the appearance of a stereotypical zombie. His face is literally crawling with maggots, leading to his eventual nickname, Maggot Head.
Come on, Maggot Head!
And just like the last...
Come on, Maggot Head! Oh my god, I gotta see these movies again.
Come on, Maggot Head. We watched all of them, remember? In succession?
I know.
That was good.
I'd do it again.
It
wasn't the first time I've done that.
I am done. When you do that with a movie series, it actually is way more enjoyable.
Yeah.
To actually consume the whole storyline in a line.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It is.
When you watch them and it's just random on like USA, it was like 4 a.m. and Friday the 13th part 6 is on.
All right, this is something to watch.
Yeah, it's something to watch, but you're not getting the context of all of it.
No.
When you watch them like that, you binge watch them. You get the whole story.
Or you could watch a YouTube video like this and get, a synopsis.
We should watch some James videos,
Last 2 times he was revived.
Well, it's Friday the 13th, and Jason Voorhees' birthday, so
yeah,
this is appropriate.
It is. It's great.
he's gained even more power, which he shows by punching a hole straight through the chest of Tommy's friend, knocking him back into the open grave. This is not just a personal theory anymore, because Tommy seems to notice it too.
We've got to do something. He's even more powerful now. Aren't you the kid whose mother and friends were killed by that maniac?
As always, Jason heads back to where he feels most.
God, everyone thought that Tommy was just fucking crazy.
I know. It's that guy. It's that kid.
Oh, it's Tommy that's doing it.
Oh, it's Tommy. And didn't the daughter of she had a crush on him?
Yeah, she did.
That's fucking great. I love that. The fucking nut. The sheriff's daughter has a fucking crush on the nut boy.
Yeah. Right.
That's great.
I think it's also rebellion to her father, who happens to be sheriff.
Who happens to be a sheriff. And
yeah.
of course, she wants to rebel and be a bad girl.
Yeah, that's true.
You want to be a little bad girl.
The lakeside
huh?
campground. And on the way, he encounters two of his least favorite things. Camp
be a little bad
With
girl.
the fence post still in hand, Jason punctures their tire, punctures the male counselor, and finally stands over the female counselor and jams his rod down her throat. And yes, I'm aware that she's carrying around an
No, he doesn't do that.
That's what she said.
Yeah, but yeah, but Voorhees is a fucking incel. He doesn't do anything like that. He just shoves an actual rod down their throat for his sake, because he feels like it, because he's a fucking incel.
The good old American Express card.
The black one, the Diddy one.
Someone looked this up.
Expired debit card. I can tell it's expired because the next day is stated to be Friday the 13th.
Happy Friday the 13th.
As we know, Friday the 13th in a movie is the equivalent of Friday the 15th in real life. Here are the Friday the 15th in the late 80s, and here are the Friday the 15th in the 1990s. The calendar in the sheriff's office shows that it's June, meaning that Jason's next rampage must have taken place on Friday, June 13th, 1990, which includes 5 company officials who are on a paintball retreat, the drunkard digger of graves who gets destroyed with his own body, the pair of promiscuous picnickers who gets pierced with Jason's machete, and
promiscuous.
The couple of carnal camp counselors who gets killed in their caravan after copious amounts of coitus. I don't know if poetry was an activity at Camp Forest Green, but I feel like
this is.
You know what? At least they got to finish.
This is Catholic propaganda.
I mean,
against sex.
Like seriously, let people just make love.
This is anti-sex Catholic propaganda.
Totally against this stuff.
Yeah, this is weird.
Like that at least belongs on a postcard. Because apparently the campers don't actually send their parents postcards. They use pad and paper. Jason, by the way, pops right back up after the RV crash with no apparent injuries.
Okay, so how'd they do this effect? They drove up on a uneven ramp and it easily tipped the van that, you know, I'd love to have and destroyed it.
They wrecked it on you.
I know.
Unacceptable behavior, fatality.
Pop! He just like punches the door open.
I know.
It kind of reminds me how the door opened when Bezos opened up the door for Katy Perry to come wafting out and kissing the ground with a flower in her fucking stupid hand.
Wafting out.
So she could do this on stage.
Oh my god. She's a clone. That's not Katy Perry. She can't even sing, this clone.
Oh god.
She can't sing.
I don't know what happened to Katy Perry, but you're not blocked.
You're not blocked.
Finally, Jason arrives at Camp Forest Green. But for the first time since he was a camper there, camp activities would be in session. There's a moment that caught my eye right before Jason's arrival at the camp. One of the kids is reading John Paul Sartre's No Exit, a play in which the characters are trapped together in a room that represents hell. It seems fitting, seeing as how they're all about to find themselves in an inescapable hell with Jason. More than anything, this story, Jason Lives, is about the idea that history cannot be altered or forgotten. You have to accept that tragedy happens, but make the most of your situation regardless. This is illustrated in the constant contrast between the erasure of the past and the legacy of Jason Voorhees. The name of the county, city, and campground have all been changed, and anyone who brings up Jason is run out of town. But his imprint on the community is inescapable. There's a card game about him called Camp Blood, where Jason is
a card game named Camp Blood.
You stay away from my daughter, Jarvis.
This isn't. They didn't. Is this where they went fucking, you know, taking their clothes off?
Yeah,
and isn't that every single
cards represent
movie?
And even the little kids have nightmares, reflecting the passing of the legend about their most infamous resident. But to their horror,
I'll be honest, that little girl got on my nerves the whole movie. Just whiny.
What's that one? The fucking Tina.
Jason is a bigger threat now than he ever was in the past, as the counselors would soon find out. One counselor, Elizabeth Baker, thinks she hears a friend playing a prank on her and tries to get him back by drenching him with her drink. But Jason is not someone who messes around when it comes to water, and twists Ms. Baker's head off of her neck. Another Forest Green staff member.
I'm offended.
That's why you should have never poured your beer on his head, man. You pissed him off and offended his ass.
That's what Chantal wanted to do to Salah when he poured the water on her.
Oh, you could see it in her eyes.
Oh, she was fucking done, man. She was like,
I hate you.
You piece of fucking shit. Apologize to
Paula is killed inside of her cabin, then promptly defenestrated, because that's kind of Jason's thing. Jason enters the girl's cabin, leans over the bed of one girl who's awake, but ultimately hears a car door slam outside and doesn't attack any of the kids. So what's the deal here?
Yeah, he doesn't attack the kids in that movie, which is awesome. Actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've watched Paranormal Witness.
When I covered Michael Myers,
Voorhees does not. He is not into attacking kids, right?
No.
And also
history.
Myers doesn't kill kids.
I don't think he does either.
I talked about how he doesn't like harming kids, likely due to Arrested Development. Because he was traumatized as a kid, he sees himself as a kid. You could make the same argument for Jason. He was drowned when he was 11, so he'll always be sympathetic towards kids. At least that's how Tom McLaughlin, the director of Jason Lives, sees it.
That makes sense.
Here again is the whole thing of having children there, and we've seen how violent Jason can be, and I'm sure most people think, you're not going to kill a kid, are you? Well, of course we don't, but it does add attention.
However, there have been 11 different directors in this franchise, each with their own vision for the character. I'm not going to take a remark in a DVD commentary.
I mean, the cop started out as a dick, the sheriff in that town, but he ended up a hero at the end of the movie.
Well, the point, he's a good guy. Like,
yeah.
He thought Jarvis was like a fucking menace, like Diddy, like a freak,
Yeah.
Got problems. Tommy was just misunderstood completely.
That's true.
And he was possessed for a while. Hi, Marquis, what's up?
What's up, Marquis?
Easter Friday the 23rd.
What?
Okay.
As gospel. Jason had no problem going after Tommy Jarvis when he was a kid, after all. And honestly, it doesn't make much sense. The kids were the ones who bullied him and pushed him off of the dock. And he's never taken pity on characters that he relates to begin with. Otherwise, he wouldn't have killed Shelly. So I think this is just another...
That's true.
I think he thought Shelly was just as obnoxious as all of us.
Yeah.
Marquis changed it to the 13th. Best Friday the 13th ever. Why? What'd you do, girl?
Another instance of Jason allowing himself to get distracted in order to confuse and terrorize his victims. As the police pull up, he hides out in the trees and manages to take out one officer throwing him. But another manages to get
not
the
allowed here.
Him and fires 5 shots
No
in his
sex.
chest. But the bullets go right through this new and improved maggot head Jason, allowing him to walk right up and crush his head. A heavier shotgun blast from Sheriff
Toxie
Garrison
loves you, says hi. What?
But he gets up and just continues his pursuit each time.
Wait a minute. Toxie loves you, says hi?
Who's Toxie?
The Toxic Avenger? Like, she knows trauma people.
Oh.
What?
Hello.
I mean that is that something cool, or are you just saying that? Doing the show. Lloyd is right. Oh!
That's awesome. Hi,
Hey,
Lloyd.
what's up, Lloyd? Hey, I have a great idea for a screenplay of a fucking psychotic reverend, and I'll play it if you want me to.
There we go.
You want to do a movie, Lloyd? I'm with you, man. Let's do a movie.
In the end, breaking the head honcho's spine in hand-to-hand combat.
What do you think? I think.
Oh, that's awesome, Marquis.
Hey, wrong channel, kid. Now, you may be wondering.
Yeah, that is.
No, Lloyd, you're a legend. Everybody knows it, so I don't need to say anything.
That's true.
That's sick that he's listening to our podcast.
That's awesome.
Thank you for bringing him, Marquis. That's
Thanks.
insane.
With Maggot Head Jason being effectively invincible, is there any way to stop him? Would you even want to stop him if it just means him coming back even more powerful? Tommy Jarvis did his homework on the occult, and he has the answer. According to his research in these books, including 30 Years Among the Dead, Dead Are Alive, and A Manual of Occultism, the only way to stop Jason is to trap him in his original resting place, at the bottom of Crystal Lake. This plotline actually works nicely with theory number 4. It makes sense that to stop a spell enacted from the Necronomicon, you'd have to consult some magic literature of your own. Meanwhile, Jason's next target is the sheriff's daughter, Megan. But when he hears the voice of Tommy Jarvis call out, Jason turns his attention to him, the one who killed him years earlier, and the one who interrupted his slumber in the cemetery. It's likely that Tommy is the one that Jason is looking for all this time.
Oh my god, this is so cool.
Thank you, Lloyd.
I
appreciate it.
This is so cool, though. Like,
right.
Wow, Marquis, thank you.
Thank you,
Like,
Marquis.
you're adding very big value to the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Jason marches towards Tommy's boat in the lake. He walks straight down under the surface, apparently unable to float. But after launching himself out of the water, the two struggle, and Tommy is able to lock a chain around Jason's neck. When Crystal Lake's eternal resident tries to fight back, he body slams the boat in half, causing the boulder on the opposite end of the chain to sink to the bottom of the lake. It lands next to the old sign for Camp Crystal Lake.
That's interesting, actually. And then, in Jason versus Freddy, Freddy brings Jason back into the lake. At the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. So that's kind of symbolic, I guess, of a thing.
Signifying how you can try to bury the past, but you can't do away with it forever. Even with Jason tethered below the surface, he's still able to reach for Tommy and later Megan when she tries to save him. His relentless attack doesn't end until she manages to reach for the boat and steer the propeller into Jason's face and neck, which cuts through his mask and finally appears to return him to his watery grave. The greatest chapter in Jason's history is over.
It's over. It's finally over. Jason's home.
But as the title suggests, Jason lives. He would remain there, stuck in place for nearly 2 years. This would go on to be the most iconic part of Jason's story in our worlds too. So much so that it inspired one of the coolest pieces of fan art that I've ever seen. In 2013, a Minnesota-based diver and horror fan named Doug Klein created a life-size Jason Voorhees doll and anchored it 120 feet at the bottom of a flooded...
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I want to see that. I want to see it.
Okay, so Lloyd says he doesn't even know Draven. That's hilarious.
Oh, wow.
That's hilarious.
That's funny.
He's even lying about that shit.
That's pathetic. I'm sorry about that, Marky.
Oh, man.
Sorry about that, Lloyd.
Sorry, Lloyd. Just don't
Yeah.
worry about that person.
Yeah, just a nut. Just a nut.
Just a
mine
person.
pits. The area is used as a scuba diving school, and it's far down enough that you'll need a light to see it even during the day. Imagine going down in a practice dive.
So it's still down there. Oh my god.
What?
So cool.
At the lake?
Yeah.
No.
It's still down there.
Okay.
It's art now. It's considered art. I wonder what people are gonna think from like 2,000 years, and they know nothing about this, and they see that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, maybe Lloyd knows him by his real name. I don't know. I don't remember his real name.
I don't know.
But his wife is Renee.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know. I thought Renee was in a movie with a trauma movie.
Showed her titties.
Yeah, I thought she showed her tits. So
mask to mask with the Crystal Lake Killer himself. It sounds like a cool setup for a Friday the 13th movie, but the actual story of Jason's return is much more bizarre than that. In this one, there's a calendar opened up to the month of May, and there's only one May in the 1990s containing a Friday the 13th in their universe or a Friday the 15th in our universe, and that is May of 1992. Specifically, May 12th is where things pick back up, and it involves a psychokinetic teenager named Tina Shepard and her psychiatrist, Dr. Cruz.
Your psychokinetic ability is a projection of the suppressed guilt feelings that you have.
Would you speak English?
What part of that was not English? I mean, even if you did...
Well, it means you can move things with your mind.
Would you just speak English?
You can move things with your mind.
Why?
And it's part of your subconscious for some reason. I don't know how.
Why do you have to talk like such a big head?
I know, right?
Just talk to me normal.
This is when they were trying to make all psychologists look like freaking like head doctors and just making it seem like they're the crazy ones when they're there to help people.
There. We know for sure now that Draven doesn't know Lloyd, so there.
There we go.
God, it's so sad.
Didn't know what psychokinetic meant, you could easily figure it out based on the context of the conversation. And it's not like Carrie hasn't come out yet at that point. Anyway.
Oh God, they had to speak about Carrie.
Band name.
Tina is ridden with guilt over an incident from her childhood where she lost control of her
Hi Blaze, how are you?
powers, accidentally resulting in the death of her father. As she stands at the edge of the lake, she senses Jason's presence down there, but in her emotional state, she confuses it for her father and telekinetically frees him from his confining chains. Jason, now withered to the bone in some places, rises from the dark waters and disappears into the woods. Visually, this is one of the coolest iterations of Jason. After 2 years of erosion at the bottom of the lake, his mask is cracked away and his jaw is rotted.
I'm surprised he's not more bloated being at the bottom of the ocean and like fish food.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I know Lloyd hung out with angry video game nerd.
Yep. Yep.
James. That's cool shit.
I know, right?
Cool shit.
To expose the menacing set of teeth on the left side of his face. It wouldn't take long for Jason to come across a broken down car with 2 potential victims to get himself back in the homicidal groove.
Bum bum bum.
The homicidal groove. Okay. The homicidal groove.
We're doing okay, Blaze.
Yeah.
Just reviewing Jason Voorhees on his birthday, his life. This is your life, Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, it's just, some love to an incel that has to murder people.
That's true. That's true.
Even incels need their love. I guess.
This entry, Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood, takes place at these 2 houses along the lake in just about the same spot that the cabins were in Part 6, Jason Lives. Normally when I'm making these videos, I would come up with some kind of excuse to explain away the continuity errors, like I did earlier when I said Jason shaved between Part 2 and Part 3 to avoid police detection. For this, there's no excuse. In 1990, there's a campground here and no 2-story houses in sight, and in 1992, there's just a neighborhood and no campground in sight. I would say that the camp was demolished after Jason Lives and the houses were built in the meantime, but there's also a flashback to the mid-80s where we can see the same houses. I would say that there are multiple docks on Crystal Lake, kind of like how Camp Blood and Camp Packanack were 2 separate locations.
Camp
but
Blood,
no, this is the same.
Bruh.
Camp Blood, yo. You
Bruh.
don't want to go to Camp Blood, do you?
Camp Blood.
Camp Blood? What's Camp Blood? Well, don't you know, it's where this child got his mother possessed and she ended up murdering a bunch of the people who were working there. Really? Yeah.
I'm
Seriously.
sorry, Blaze. They were in an accident. That's.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
You okay? You feeling all right?
Yeah, are you okay?
That sucks.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry about that. Hope you got good insurance,
Same dock that Jason is anchored under. At this point, I would try to say that maybe there are multiple timelines and Jason Lives takes place in a different reality than New Blood. But no, we see a flashback in New Blood with footage from Jason Lives, making it very clear that this is a direct sequel. It's just a really egregious continuity error that we'll have to try to ignore. Also, it's been renamed back to Crystal Lake now. Anyway, New Blood is centered around a birthday party happening at one of the houses.
A surprise party!
The party is for this guy, Michael, but his car breaks down on the way, and they have the misfortune of coming across Jason. His girlfriend gets the old knife pinning her to a tree routine, and Michael gets a very special birthday surprise, the old throwing knife routine. I guess that's what he gets for trying to celebrate his own birthday on Jason's favorite pseudo-holiday. He also...
Tomorrow's Trump's birthday.
Oh, man.
Right after Friday the 13th.
The God
Coincidence?
King. The God King Trump.
I know, right?
Where I must tear up the streets of Washington, D.C. to display my beautiful army. My big league beautiful army.
Such a weirdo.
Narcissist.
I'm familiar with Troma, unfortunately. They're very familiar with me. They never heard of a glory hole chick. Okay.
Glory hole chick? Whoa.
Thank you, good. Just sore and irritated. Oh, I'm sorry. It sucks when that stuff happens. You're okay, though. That's good.
Oh, my God. Glory holes.
comes across another couple camping in the woods.
Okay.
When the boyfriend steps away to retrieve some wood, Jason punches right through him and steals his machete. I'm not sure why he needs a machete when he can punch through human flesh, but he certainly likes the way that he looks with one. He takes it back to their campsite where Judy says this.
Okay, you big hunk of a man, come and get me.
Which is not the wisest choice of words considering what Jason is known for. However, he only uses the machete to open the tent.
Bad
Judy's
move.
actual method of death is
he bashes her on the tree. In the sleeping bag.
sleeping bag. That's
a little maneuver I like to call the sleeping bag scene, which would become a favorite. The next day is the big one.
You scream too much. Blah. That's some diddified moves right there.
Wow.
That really is, man.
That's almost a technique that you would think he almost might use because Cassie's small. You throw her in a big bag and just beat her against a fucking tree.
There you go.
Does anyone else find it interesting that Friday the 13th is considered an unlucky day, and Jason always seems to return on that day, mostly just by luck? It's not like he's waiting around all year and decides to strike on Friday the 13th. Most of the time he's dead or in captivity, and someone just so happens to revive him right before Friday the 13th. Anyway, Jason's postcard to his mom this time would have included 2 college students who go skinny dipping. One is axed, the other drowned. One insecure girl who he follows into a shed. She believes she's outsmarted him by burrowing under a wall, but he knows exactly where she is and impales her with a giant hook. Awesome. Another couple shagging in a van, resulting in a skull crushed and an eye gouged out with a party horn. Yet another couple who work up an appetite with their late night activities.
The Neanderthal man, hunter-gatherer, seeks nourishment.
Not sure why you said
gross. That was wow. Wow, for real?
Okay.
Give me a break.
Like that, but okay. Instead of getting a midnight snack, David gets a midnight kitchen knife through the rib, and he's later decapitated. His girl later finds his head, and you know exactly where she's going before it even happens.
Out the window. There you go. His hate for windows has struck again.
Oh.
And this guy, Eddie, our aspiring science fiction writer, also gets a classic death, decapitation by machete. The birthday party backdrop for all of these kills could be interpreted as a symbol for the themes that are present in this story. Jason's rival this time is the telekinetic girl, Tina. Both are going through their own
Tina!
Oh my god, that bullshit.
Tina!
Oh my god.
Tina! But see, that's Halloween.
I know.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
They have the same names.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
Are they that unoriginal?
And her name is Jamie.
Yeah, no, that's dumb, man.
After Jamie Lee Curtis.
That's really lazy,
Yeah, the
though.
girl's name is Jamie. I do remember that.
I see that as lazy. Like,
or giving props to the Scream Queen.
Well, I guess you could say that. But
yeah.
Okay, we'll look at it that way then.
There you go.
That's fine.
Personal rebirth of sorts. Jason is metaphorically reborn, from under the surface of Crystal Lake to massacre a new generation of teens, and Tina is being reborn in the sense that she has to learn to harness her previously repressed special powers. It's a battle of which one will find his or her footing first. But lost in the commotion of the Lakeside Slaughterfest are Tina's mom, Mrs. Shepard, and her doctor, Dr. Cruz, and Jason is drawn to the sound of their argument. He approaches them holding a bush axe, which I didn't even know what that was until I looked it up. It just looks like a weapon to me, but apparently it's
a bush axe. No, he liked using his garden tools for his many, mercs.
Yeah.
Garden tools was his thing, man. Anything that's sharp and pointy.
Lawn darts.
Yeah.
It's the greatest tool ever.
These awesome things, bush axes. Some people call them brush hooks. Some people call them big blades on a stick. Stick around.
Jesus, he looks like a bloated Garth.
Oh my god.
Or a bloated Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wayne from Wayne's World.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll go get some water. Go get some sweet tea.
We get this big old bush axe right here, and we're gonna go and hit a tree, and you're gonna see the devastation that happens to this tree here. You hear? We're gonna swing it. You see that slit? Think of that. Think that's what Jason did. That's right.
Oh my god.
That wind. It's fall here in Georgia. Anyway, bush axe to the face.
What a guy. Dude just loves bush axes. Anyway, Mrs. Shepard makes like a bush and gets axed. After disposing of her, Jason comes back with a motorized branch saw. Colin Lance.
Oh, hell no.
A motorized branch saw.
Oh, hell. I totally like his gardening tools. That looks like something you could play in a zombie movie.
The lawnmower is the best. You're not going to get better than that.
The lawnmower from...
yeah, Dead Alive.
Dead Alive, yeah.
You don't get better than that.
That's true.
Okay.
Escaping Jason, I guess. Dr. Cruz just kind of stops running at some point, and Jason comes in from the opposite side somehow and kills him, which is weirdly another example of Jason seemingly being able to warp from spot to spot. Another thing I find interesting about Landscape and Jason is that he moves all of his victims to one spot in the woods. It makes me wonder if he's attempting to build another shrine, like
He's making people into flowers.
Yeah.
He's growing his evil Jason flower.
It's his artwork.
Yes, it's his spirit cooking.
This is how he does art, Jason Voorhees.
Yes.
He's going to decorate the walls with flesh. Like kind of Ed Gein.
Yeah.
Sort of like that.
Kind of Ed Gein-y.
Yeah. But I don't think Ed Gein had any issues with copulation or anything. I don't know about that.
No, he had mommy issues.
Did he? I don't know.
He had severe mommy issues, Ed Gein. Oh my god, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah, definite mommy issues.
Still stuck on the idea that he can bring back his mother if he performs this ritual. We never get to find out if those were his intentions, though, because eventually he crosses paths with Tina, who uses her telekinesis to wrap Jason up in tree roots, pin him down in a puddle, and break off an overhead power cable to electrocute him, which is suspiciously similar to something that Carrie White does in Stephen King's novel Carrie. But this doesn't keep him down very long. Tina tries to fight him off by repeatedly air-yeeting heavy objects in his direction.
Air-yeeting.
What the fuck?
Heavy objects at him. Yeah. This one's stupid as shit.
Yeah.
Just the supernatural shit, it's like, what the fuck?
And eventually, she just collapses the roof on him.
There you go.
Jason's dead.
He wasn't dead.
No, he's not dead.
He's incapable of dying. He's undead.
Yeah, he's a deadite. He'll just come back once you summon him.
He's undead.
Like, Pinhead. He never dies.
Pinhead, I believe, could be killed. He's a principality of hell.
But he's never died.
No, he was a man.
Well, yeah.
He was a normal man that was made into something else. But I think...
An English soldier, if
yes, that's correct.
Remember.
That's canon, yes.
Yes.
That's correct. But I'm saying he was made like a king of hell or something.
Yeah, he's like an English soldier from World War I.
That accepted the dark side.
Yes.
And accepted a reward from Satan, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
And he became this fallen being that's all weird shit. That's true, I mean.
It's true, it's so true.
That's what it is.
Oh, Lord.
It's very obsessive, weird, sadomasochistic shit. Hellraiser stuff. Like the friends that I had that were into Hellraiser were very much into S&M and shit.
That's true.
They like that shit a lot.
That's true.
So...
when he axed this girl in the face and chased the last two remaining survivors, Tina and her love interest Nick. And this is where we learn that if there's one thing Jason hates more than camp counselors, windows, and doors, it's definitely walls and sometimes the floor. As he attempts to crush Nick, Tina tries to save her new boyfriend by squeezing Jason's mask so tight that white pus oozes out of his skull and the mask breaks off.
So she popped off his mask.
Yeah.
Roar.
Oh my god.
Ooh, my grandma loves scary movies. I remember watching Hellraiser really young. I've been scared to watch it ever since. Don't. It's not as bad as you think it is. It's really not.
Okay, I mean...
It's really tacky if you actually watch it now.
Yeah, and it's honestly, like, in terms of just being objective about cinema, it's subpar. It's not... Yeah. It's okay.
It is. It's just a fun watch, just now and then.
Well, I don't even feel that way. Like, I would never watch it again. I've seen it so many times. The plot line is very basic.
I like the third one with the guy who, like, the rough guy with the Italian guy, you know, and he like gets sucked into like the cube thing and
that
with the girl and shit. I like
Hellraiser Bloodlines.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah,
Hellraiser Bloodlines is probably the best Hellraiser movie.
Yeah,
the first one is very, like they put together. It's a fucking dime a dozen screenplay in my opinion. Like for real.
Huh.
The box is a cool, iconic thing.
Yeah.
The cube box. But, like, in terms of what the movies are, it's kind of whatever. Like, I mean, this is slasher shit. It's very basic.
That's true.
Well, he's gonna be pissed. There's an interesting pattern here, though. Jason may be invincible in the sense that you can't kill shots.
It's looking rough.
You ugly-looking motherfucker.
Yeah, oh, my God. Could we get that? Could we get an Arnold Voorhees movie?
Oh, my God, an Arnold? Oh, my God, that would be great. Arnold doing... Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
but it's clear that he's continuing.
He has to take him on because he's like a member of like a fucking FBI force that fights paranormal beings or something.
Tina and Jason is an epic one, but
quiet. I'm trying to not. You've met Barker and Lynch. That's awesome.
Oh man, David Lynch. Well,
legend.
It's so sad.
It ends with Tina driving him through a hole into the basement, Jason pulling her down with him, and her driving him back with a jar of nails, a can of gasoline, and finally lighting him up with the flames from the furnace.
He's undead, that's why he never
the
dies.
House blew up? How did the house blow up?
Probably a gas line or something.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. But
that must have been fun blowing that house up, I'm just saying.
But this does explain why Voorhees he's undead. He can't die. That's why they blew him apart. That was the only way to get rid of him. Like Nimrod, you just blow his body apart. But then he came back as the black ooze being that could just possess people.
Oh, that's awesome. Sign my Eraserhead VHS. That's the shit.
Holy shit, that's fucking bomb. Wow.
Not only is this another page taken from the Book of Carrie White, but there's a fun trivia item for you. Jason was the original slasher to get basement burninated 30 years before Michael Myers. So that's it. Jason's body was completely annihilated by the blast, and he couldn't possibly come back. Oh,
of course not.
Back. Their battle actually ends on the docks, where Tina uses her abilities to latch onto her father, who had died at this very spot 10 years ago, and he wraps yet another chain around.
Yeah, so her father comes back from the dead and drags him down to the fucking lake. That's so dumb.
DC Comics did a Batman versus Predator, and it was awesome. Comic.
There you go.
He beat the fuck out of Bruce, and Bruce had to get a cybernetic suit to beat him.
That sounds really cool.
It was so good. Comic. Really good comic. They should make that a movie. Bruce Wayne basically almost dies.
Drags him back
they did take this into full B movie.
Dark waters, trapping them both below the surface once again. The dad doesn't look decayed at all, which is weird and makes me wonder if Crystal Lake itself is actually part of the formula for granting eternal life. Like, is Jason's invincibility?
Huh. That's interesting. It's magic.
Indeed.
Ability tied to the fact that he drowned in this lake specifically? I'm gonna try not to think too hard about it, because like I said, New Blood is not exactly a shining example of good continuity. The more important takeaway is that the mask is destroyed and Jason is returned to his underwater prison. But it's only a matter of time until the suffocated summer camper would surface yet again. Jason's next rampage wouldn't happen for another 6 years, during a high school graduation celebration.
This request has gone all the way out to Crystal Lake.
Okay, this is the best one.
Ooh.
This is Jason Takes Manhattan.
Oh yeah, he gets like a spear in the fucking throat or something.
Isn't that fun when you're in that moment and you're like, ooh,
yeah,
and you're just like all just rubbing on each other and just enjoying each other's bodies.
Yes.
I love that moment.
The senior class, Lake.
That's us.
Get the hands up.
Graduating on.
All right, Marquis, good luck.
Yeah, good luck, man.
13th of this month.
In the US, graduation ceremonies typically take place in June. So in the real world, that's a Friday, June 15th we're looking for. However, the only such date during the 90s is in 1990, before the events of New Blood. We know this is after New Blood because we see Jason crushed under the dock just like after his battle with Tina. So maybe Lakeview High graduated in May instead of June. In fact, when
break a leg, Marquis, break a leg.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Rooting for you.
Manhattan was crazy. I bet it is.
Yeah.
With everything going on with Diddy and shit, it's got to be nuts.
Well, I think she means a movie.
Oh.
That was my favorite. It is.
When I was in high school, our graduation was in May because the seniors got to get out earlier than the rest of the school. If it's in May, then there are two possible days, May 1992 and May 1998. 92 would be during New Blood. So because of this line from one of the Lakeview High teachers,
Jason Voorhees has been dead for years.
God, he's such an ass pervert in that movie.
I know.
I just want to... You always kind of do want to punch him in the face,
He's
though.
a weird...
In everything I've seen him in.
He always plays that weird, creepy guy that just...
Yeah, you just don't like him.
You don't want him around anybody that you love.
No.
He's a weird creep.
Yeah.
He's just ready to, like, stick his hand somewhere.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
It must be May of 1998. Don't be fooled into listening to this character, Jim Miller, who tells of Jason's drowning about 30 years ago. He must be misinformed. 30 years after the drowning would be 1987, and we're way past that at this point. Note how the visuals when he tells this story show Jason drowning at night, and he says that's when the murder started to happen, which is incorrect. So...
That's not
awesome.
true,
That's
man.
sick and shit.
That's not true.
Lloyd has now viewed the Rev and Shanny show, or the Shanny and Rev show.
There you go.
That's fucking hardcore.
That is hardcore.
This is a good night. All right.
It's always a good night.
Jim Miller is just an unreliable storyteller.
It's always a good day to die.
I have to
Klingon adage.
I have to get you the Klingon sword. That's an agreement.
Yes.
I have to get you that.
I need
item.
that
Yeah.
in my life.
That will be hung on the wall.
He also claims that these are just stories, which is categorically untrue. Something he'd know if he paid any attention to the news. He would find out the truth the hard way when his boat's anchor cuts into a power cable under the lake, which somehow results in Jason getting pumped with electricity again, which, as we know, is an effective way to revive him. And, as luck would have it, Jim happened to have a replica Jason mask that he used to scare his girlfriend, Susie Donaldson.
What a stupid asshole. Then you deserve to get it from frickin' Jason if you're doing shit like that.
Susie.
He deserves it. Always scaring your girlfriend like you're about to hurt her or something. That's so fucked up.
Prank videos like that shit, you know?
I hate being pranked.
That's disgusting.
I would never do that to you because I know it would just automatically piss you off.
Yeah, same here. I'd never
a
dream of that shit.
No.
This also kind of shows that Jason's notoriety has grown in universe, to the point that costume products are being made in his image. I suppose this could just be another hockey mask, but seeing as how this is nearly a decade after the last use of the old mask style in the NHL in 1990 by journeyman Sam St. Laurent, it seems more...
It's okay. Jason has a Jason Voorhees jersey.
I'll put it on.
Yeah.
For the end.
Yeah, put it on for the end. Show the jersey.
So hot.
Well, you don't have to put it on. You could just show it on camera. If it's that hot. I mean. Alright. It'll be like 2 minutes and he'll be taking it off. Alright, well you have a good one, Ghost.
Bizarre.
I know, right?
I don't know
Marquis says I have the same jersey. Spirit Halloween. That's where we got it.
Is it where we got it?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
we got it from Spirit Halloween.
Sick though, and it fits good.
Ah, Lord.
All these piece of shit things have to be so fat.
I know.
Who the fuck's ears like that?
Probably people who use these things a lot.
There we go. Okay. Now that's the deal.
There we go.
There's
Jason right there, and it says Voorhees on the back.
On the back, 13.
13 on the sleeves.
Yeah. I would never mutilate this. This is sick looking.
I know.
There's no way.
The back is awesome too.
I know the back's cool.
And it's official Friday the 13th merch.
Yeah, it's real thing.
Yeah.
And it was Spirit Halloween, right?
Yep.
Sick looking. I would never mutilate this. Like, that would be a fucking sin.
Marquis like, yep, that's the one I have.
It's sick, isn't it? I love it. It was worth every penny. I can't remember how much it was.
I agree.
It's definitely worth it, though.
I think it was Spirit Halloween of 2019.
2019. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
It was a long time ago.
Wow.
Likely that Jason merch has made its way into costume shops. As is often the case, Jim and Susie made the mistake of rocking the boat. So Jason arms himself with a harpoon gun.
There we go. It's always the sex thing. Again, like they want to make love, and Jason just won't allow it.
No. Your procreative type of hard-on and wet pussy will not happen around me. What a freak.
What a cock blocker.
That's the entire point of this storyline.
It's cock blocking.
It's cock blocking males that get pussy, and he's pissed because he don't ever get it. Because he's a hydrocephalic freak.
There you go.
See?
Gun for a pair of nautical kills. At this point, Jason takes control of their boat, and surprisingly, he voluntarily leaves Crystal Lake for the first time, driving the vessel out to the ocean. There's no indication as to why he decides to do this, but I can speculate. Jim and Susie were supposed to be part of a cruise to New York City to celebrate their graduation starting on Friday the 13th.
Maybe Jason has like a sense of getting to people, like he knows who his targets are and he's gonna take his targets regardless. Like he's become like death.
I have become death.
Yeah.
Destroyer
he's
of
a Grim
worlds.
Reaper, dude.
Probably wanted to do something special for Friday the 13th, since it had been many years since his last rampage, and figured what better place to find teens to kill than a graduation cruise. So that takes us directly to Friday, May 13th, 1998, when Jason swims from the Drifter to the motor vessel Lazarus Panama, and climbs up on a rope
date on
from the
that.
side.
It's 98.
Isn't that interesting? The boat's name is Lazarus.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Didn't this what year did this movie come out? They say it takes place in 98. So it's like in the future?
I think it's 85 though is when it came out.
So there had movies in the future.
I think let me make sure.
That's different.
I think it's Jason Takes
Manhattan.
I think it's 85.
Then they said it in the future. It's kind of sci-fi then in a way. A little bit. I didn't know that. It's pretty neat. What? What's the matter?
Of course, it's not going to work for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Horror films were the original parable stories. Yeah.
Yeah, you can say that.
You can definitely say that.
Reference to Lazarus of Bethany, a figure in Christianity whose life is restored by Jesus.
Oh, wow. He's even talking about freaking Lazarus and who he is.
That's cool.
That is pretty cool. I appreciate that.
Lazarus, come forth.
That's true. Come forth, Lazarus.
Jesus of Nazareth is a beautiful depiction of Christ's ministry. You should watch that if you've never seen it.
That's true.
It's like 6.5 hours long or whatever, but it's worth it, especially if you're a believer. Very accurate telling.
That's true, too.
It is.
Oh, my God.
What is going on?
The OBS is just being an ass right now. Just to be an ass. And I'm there we go. That's what I wanted.
Okay.
Hey, this isn't a bad setup right here.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Jesus 4 days after his death, perhaps an intentional nod to Jason's ability to return from death each time he meets his demise.
Ooh.
As usual, he's spotted by a harbinger.
This is just doomed.
And one by one,
This voyage is doomed. Doomed. You will never be one.
he takes down each of the students traveling on board, starting with a new spin on an old classic.
Last
Where the old
Temptation
landscape in
was a
Jason
wild
would have
one,
used a
Marky.
bush axe, the new seafaring Jason uses a different kind of axe.
Is this act awesome or what?
This chick ends up getting cut down by her own axe in the power room under the hull.
Yeah, but this is after she snorted a bunch of snow.
Yeah.
You know.
Guitar fatality.
Yeah.
Split her right in her fucking face and
She
half.
was annoying, in my opinion, too.
I agree. The
Spree
Asian girl
continues
is
with
cute,
one student
though,
who gets a
and
hot
she
sauna
got
rock smashed through his torso, causing his
Ow!
face to catch fire. One egotistical bully girl who he slices up with a broken mirror shard, which may or may not be some kind of message about inner beauty, and he harpoons the ship's second in command, Jim Carlson, which is like the third Jim that he's killed. What does he have against people named Jim? Does he just...
Huh. Maybe he doesn't like gyms.
I'm sure he hates any male that's about to get laid.
Yeah, he does.
That's kind of the deal.
Yeah.
If you're about to have your penis in a woman, he's going to kill you.
Hate anyone else who has a J name? When the captain comes back to find his cohort massacred, Jason appears behind him and slits his throat with, I'm not exactly sure what this is, but I believe it may be a marine machete, a common tool on ships designed for cutting ropes and other materials.
He loves
a nautical
machetes,
twist on one of
so
Jason's
good
favorite.
guess.
You know, I think it's how the blade cuts is why he likes the machete so much. You know, it's just a downward slash, you know?
Yeah.
Or a side slash.
He'd rather engage in just a long slash. Not too much energy, just to slice the fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
They won't move again.
They're going to be okay in the death area.
Yeah. I think that's what it is.
And then some he wants to pin up on trees.
There's that too.
I mean, that's just a thing that he engaged in Crystal Lake. He definitely enjoys that. But we're going to now go with the just psycho-style stabbing in a bathroom.
There you go.
We got that now. Okay. And now she starts having a connection with Jason, this chick. Because she's like a nice girl, traumatized by her piece of shit, freak, disgusting father.
That's true, too.
And she just relates to Jason in a way, I guess.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Throughout all of this, graduating senior Rennie Wickham and her dog Toby see terrifying visions of the child form of Jason. It's likely that she was targeted with these visions or spirits because she and Jason both share the experience of nearly drowning in Crystal Lake at the age of 11. Rennie ended up developing a...
Oh, so like that's what his attraction is to her, because he probably saw her go through it.
Her father did that to her.
Yeah.
So that he feels a connection to her, without a doubt. He knows she has that same memory of like drowning. So of course he has a connection with her, and it's like, oh my God, could you be the one that could kiss me, the toad man?
Ew, God, no, please don't. Ew.
I need a toad man kiss.
So Jason finally gone through puberty and he's horny now.
I don't think it's pretty obvious. He's gone through so many females that are nude right in front of him, and he just chops them in half. He's not interested in that.
Oh, okay.
I think that's obvious. You know what I mean?
Okay, but he likes her still.
Because there'd be an added thing to the story where you would have scenes where he's fucking women.
Okay.
And then killing them. There's none of that. He doesn't give a fuck about fucking.
Huh.
He just wants to rip them apart.
Interesting.
Fear of water because of this incident.
Sort of like Diddy. Wow. I remember that. They're like, ha, you fucking bitch. We hate your dad.
She nudged her on purpose.
I know it. I know.
Bitch.
They hated her because she's like a sweet girl.
I know. Like, how dare you?
Yeah. She just has a dog. And they're like, oh, look at this little vulnerable piece of shit bitch. We're just going to throw her over the fucking thing because we're bitches.
That's true.
Let's throw her over.
That's very true.
That was not an accident. Jason had a fear of water as a kid due to his inability to swim, but now that he's immortal, his fear of drowning is no longer relevant. However, I will come back to this concept later. Jason goes through his usual routine. Normally, he cuts electricity and telephone lines, but since they're on a boat, he sabotages the vessel's communication equipment. At some point, he hears an emergency PA announcement, asking those on board to meet at the bridge, but he catches one straggler, a girl named Eva, and she tries to hide from him on the party deck. She seemingly gets...
Dance girl. All right.
I think this girl was on one of my mom's soap operas.
I think so. I think she's so pretty. Her hair is so cute.
Disoriented by all the lights and music or something? It's honestly a very strange scene that goes on way...
And this was like her first, like that one rocker chick. Got her, peer pressured her to take her first hit of the snow.
Yeah, I know.
Right? So she's under the influence of snow, and then this is happening.
I know.
I'd never want to take it again after it. Well, I guess she didn't.
Well, she ain't taking nothing. She ain't breathing.
But long story short, she panics at the disco, and he decides, let's kill tonight. And he does. He strangles her. I guess it's a sin and a tragedy. He also chucks a film student into an electrical box and sounds the fire alarm, which I guess is the right thing to do, considering the kid's body is on fire. The fire melts a hole in the ship, causing it to start taking on water. But Jason wastes no time.
No, this is just in the beginning of the movie. Like, this is the first part of the movie. Like, the action starts right away.
It's pretty... Well, no, the opening scene is that guy with the fluffy hair that gets speared in the fucking cock or whatever.
Like, this is like at the beginning of the movie too. This is like 10 minutes in.
It's very it moves fast.
It really does.
It moves fast, and then you get into New York, and it's like it's the best. I think it's the best written.
I think so too.
Because it feels like almost a completely different movie when they get to the city.
That's true.
It's really well done.
Very.
Yeah.
I'm taking whatever victims he can. Like the kid who is thrown from a ladder and skewered on the boat's antenna, the deckhand who gets a fire axe in the back, or the other kids who he leaves for dead to drown in the disco. In a haunting display, Jason simply watches as he leaves the last 5 remaining humans and 1 dog to huddle into the lifeboat and paddle away into the storm. We don't see Jason again until he emerges from the water at the harbor in New York City. I can only assume that after the Lazarus sunk, he simply walked along the ocean floor, looking up at the lifeboat and following them until they reach shore. Since he's already drowned 3 times before, his lungs are filled with water and he's dense enough to stay down. And since he can't be killed, he doesn't need oxygen. Jason comes face to face with a billboard for the Eastern Hockey League, where he sees a mask nearly identical to his. After seeing it, I have friends now.
This is my town. Yeah, I'm in the right place now. That's what he's saying, and he's just walking through the streets, and it's pretty great. Like, cause
it really is.
Like, they have this totally like 80s music, and like he's walking through the streets, and there's like punks, and he just walks through punks with like boom boxes.
That's true.
It's great. This is very good.
Reverses his course. I have to wonder if he was remembering back to when Tommy Jarvis used his own image to trick him and decided to just steer clear this time. After he wanders the docks, he finds Rennie, who's in the midst of being assaulted by two gangsters. Jason makes like Max Mayfield from Stranger Things and finds a random needle to stab the—
Oh yeah, didn't they put H in her?
Yes, they were gonna make her into that shit.
Yeah,
a sex slave, basically.
Yeah,
and Jason's like, not today.
That's true.
Not today, bitch. You're done.
She's mine. Which goes clean through him. It might just be the most accidentally heroic thing that Jason has ever done. This is a part of why I think it's BS when people say Jason doesn't kill kids, or Jason only wanted revenge for his death, or Jason is just the embodiment of evil. The moment shows that Jason doesn't discriminate. He wants to kill everyone, good or bad. It doesn't matter to him. After the other criminal gets his face bashed into a steaming pipe, Jason doesn't hesitate to turn his attention to Rennie.
Bizarre.
Jason Takes Manhattan is all about kids who have expectations set by parents and guardians that they're trying to break out of. Rennie wants to overcome her fears instead of living in the shadow of fear under her uncle. Sean wants to carve his own path instead of becoming a sea captain like his father. The Statue of Liberty in New York represents a new destiny for many immigrants, and Sean gifts Rennie a Lady Liberty necklace, representing a new start for them without being controlled by past authority figures. The overall theme of this entry can also kind of be applied to Jason. He too is finally changing his destiny. His whole existence up to this point has been about staying back at Crystal Lake and eventually—
Yeah, and then he gets out of Crystal Lake, and then what is this? Jason Goes to Hell is next after this one? And then there's the Jason Goes to Space, or whatever it is called.
Jason X.
Jason X, yeah, that was
fucking pathetic.
You'll see, it's a terrible movie.
It's so bad.
His mother, listening to her every command if he has to. But now he's leaving Crystal Lake for the first time and doing his own thing in New York.
Now, Pinhead in space was fucking awesome.
Yeah, Bloodlines.
Bloodlines, that was awesome.
I think that's the best one.
The light, demon, the light.
Yeah, I think that's the best one. Like, objectively speaking.
Definitely.
I think it's the best one.
Ending the lives of whoever he wants, whenever he wants along the way. Maybe he'll just send a postcard. But this time, he's got his sights set on the survivors. He allowed the school's star boxer to throw 57 punches at him uncontested. But demonstrated his superiority by knocking him
pops off his head.
Uppercut to the head.
Dude, 57 punches, they counted.
They counted how many punches, yeah.
57 punches he took before he popped that dude's head off. Look
Boxer
at
threw 57 punches at him uncontested, but demonstrated his superiority by knocking his opponent's head off with one huge
takedown. See? That's why you don't, you don't really want to mess with Voorhees. Like, you don't.
I know, right?
Okay, he's going to grab you by the shoulder and pop your head off like a cabbage. Like,
right?
You don't want to, no.
It's awesome.
Just let him go. Like, just let him walk. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't mess with that at all. Just don't.
That's nothing compared to the squad car that Rennie rams him with. But even that only keeps Jason down for a few seconds. And Rennie's uncle, Mr. McCullough, pays the price with the honorary defenestration of the summer. Jason then dunks him in a barrel of sewage to drown the guy. A fitting end.
You know what? Bastard deserved it.
He did. Hi, Cousin Matt.
Hi, Cousin Matt. How are you?
How you doing?
To the guy who once nearly drowned his niece, to be honest. Rennie, understandably, starts to lose it.
I was at school and they told me, Rennie, your parents
He's a
died
freak
of cars.
pervert, this bro.
It seems like everybody I care about, I lose.
Relatable.
That guy was on my mom's soap operas.
Yeah, yes, he definitely was.
Ryan.
Soap operas.
His name was Ryan.
It's not gonna happen this time.
What? What are you talking about? She just lost her uncle, her teacher, the only trusted adult in her life, and basically all of her classmates.
Oh!
What the hell was that jaw thing he did while kissing her?
And basically all of her classmates.
Look at this shit.
Ew! No, that's a nibble. He did a nibble on the mouth. That's gross. Weird.
That's weird. What
I
the
don't
hell?
like
and
that.
She's like this.
She don't know.
God, they can't kiss. Bad kiss.
I want to know. Okay.
What?
What was that?
I don't know what that was.
We're going into the realm of was
life,
that,
and basically all of her classmates.
Dude,
no.
Yeah, dude, no. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so bad. It's a bad kiss. Yeah, nibbling's fine, but that didn't look right.
You don't nibble like that while kissing. That's awkward and weird and stupid.
That's true.
Oh, not the time for that. As you may recall, Jason looks to kind of have a sixth sense for romantic activities, and this seems to activate it. The chase after his final two targets.
You guys are being romantic! Roarg!
Jason's an archetype of your parents when you're young in school and you're trying to touch your girlfriend in your room.
Okay.
He's an archetype of that.
Yeah.
Ow, my ear. Fuck you. I can't stand it.
taking them into the subway where Jason is electrocuted on the tracks, through Times Square where Jason scares off a group of punks with his face.
See, there it is. Yo, man, it's alright, bro. I didn't say nothing to you.
He just takes off his mask, and they're like, "Ah, dude." He's like, "I respect you guys. You're violent.
You had a bad day.
But look at my face." And they're like, "Okay, you've been through enough. I'm done."
That guy's
through
face.
a diner and into the sewer.
He had to go through the door like that. He couldn't just open it normally. He has to bust through it.
Where he jumps a sanitation worker and bashes his head in with his own teeth. Though she may not have any superpowers or occult knowledge like her two predecessors, Rennie still manages to surprise him with a bucket of toxic chemicals, which are just...
It has to be green, of course. Like green slime.
That's from Access Chemicals.
That has to be trauma. A trauma, like, hello.
I don't know.
A trauma tickle.
Maybe.
Lying around. This seems to hurt him more than almost anything.
You know, the Toxic Avenger, you know, and everything's green.
Yeah.
You know,
thing we've seen before, causing him to remove his mask and scream in pain. The unmasked Jason looks...
How does he see?
I don't know.
Like, damn.
Ew. That's a really rough portrait.
That looks like a bloated...
well, he's been burned like a billion times. So, like, his face is like, what, clay? Like,
God damn.
It's different from his previous zombie iteration. He now seems to have lost all of his teeth and devolved into more of a slime monster than a zombie, perhaps as a result of the toxic waste melting away his rotting skin. His left eye seems to have basically turned to mush, and he's left stumbling around, barely holding his balance. If there's any conclusion I can take away from the evolution of these rare appearances of his unmasked face, it's that even though Jason can't experience true death, the damage issued by his opponents over the last 2 decades are slowly breaking him down. Still, he...
That is interesting, actually. Like, the smell. I bet he stinks really bad.
it's going to be mostly the smell of like a moldy, musty lid.
Fishy? I would say fishy.
Probably a little bit, but mostly must. Like must smell.
Does he piss and shit and eat?
No, no. He doesn't require food.
That's awful.
He manages to reach his targets at the 144th Street access ladder. Only problem is, he's too late. The 12 a.m. flood of toxic waste rapidly floods the sewer system. I don't know
2 a.m. flow of toxic...
I know, it's nuts, right?
I guess
why the NYC sewers are filled with toxic waste, but we just saw the effect that a little bit of this material had on him.
That's a stereotype. Okay.
Mommy.
If you go to New York City, you're not going to smell sewer smell and shit, and that's crazy. You're going to smell gyros and Sabret hot dogs.
There you go.
And Steve of getting washed away with this stuff triggers flashbacks to the waves washed over him as a child in Crystal Lake, costing him his life for the first time.
The first time.
After this, Rennie sees the vision of Jason's drowned body as a child one last time, as the threat is finally swept away long enough for her, Sean, and the dog Toby to safely get out of New York.
Toby!
Toby
always lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
He was a good boy. I didn't want to see him.
At some point, Jason must have walked back to New Jersey and continued his tradition of killings back at Crystal Lake. Or at least I assume the killing continued, because why else would there have been an FBI response to Jason Voorhees? He got a new...
Okay, this is Jason Goes to Hell, this one.
There you go. And we're getting... like, oh my god, the
infamous towel scene.
Look, the subsequent Jason excursions in cinema are garbage after this.
Oh, dude, the Freddy vs. Jason, though. I love that movie. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, fine. It's up to you.
Mask, which now barely fits over his face and almost seems to be melding into it. I can't give you an exact date for the FBI attack on Jason. It could have been any time between 2001 and 2005. I can't use my old...
Well, welcome into our room, Cleopatra.
Trick of finding which years had a Friday the 13th in certain months because they stopped using the phrase Friday the 13th in the title of the films. This one is just called Jason Goes to Hell. It's mentioned that the cabins were torn down a few years before, and we still see them upright in 1998, so it must be at least 2001. The FBI's trap involves them...
Yes, the towel scene.
Yep.
She's got a great body.
Them using a female agent as bait to get Jason out in the open, where they open fire on him from all directions, completely blasting his body apart. Several seconds later, he's still
just blasted his fucking body apart.
His brain is
beating
just
heart finally comes to a stop.
that's his heart.
What's left of him is transferred to the federal morgue in Youngstown, Ohio, where the coroner determines that Jason's heart is twice the size of a normal heart, and it's filled with a black, viscous fluid.
Oh, that guy was psycho, and didn't he get, like, possessed with him?
Yes, that black shit goes into him.
Yeah, and he gets possessed.
This is the next level, the next incarnation of Jason. He becomes a being that's able to enter a body.
Well, I think he's always been able to enter bodies.
Okay, but this is different.
It starts beating again as he examines it. The black liquid is a physical manifestation of the immortality spell cast on Jason from the Necronomicon. It must be what allowed the spirit to move from Pamela to Jason, and now it would find a new host. The
He eats the heart. Insane.
Coroner Phil is possessed to eat the heart, causing fragments of Jason's soul to leave Jason's destroyed body and enter his own. I'll just call this combined entity Phil Jason, or PJ for short. But it's
Phil Jason.
Oh my god. No, I rebuke that thought. That's insanity.
Said that Jason won't
way.
survive in a foreign body. He'll get
Never.
weaker and more prone to disease. I'm guessing he needs a body with similar DNA, which would explain why he was able to share a body with Mrs. Voorhees and why he's trying to possess someone else in his bloodline.
And a
I
Voorhees
spiritually
was born.
reject that.
Through a Voorhees may he be reborn.
He fights his way out of the morgue, taking a fellow coroner and a couple of mercenaries out along the way, leading to speculation about his return.
Are these men victims of a serial killer only believed to be deceased? Many say yes. Hi, I'm Robert Campbell.
Okay, calm down, Robert Campbell. You're no Rich Skidmore. Over the next week, 8 more Jason-style murders take place along the path from the morgue in Ohio to Crystal Lake in New Jersey. PJ manages to track down a waitress named Diana Kimball. Born as Diana Voorhees, this woman is Jason's half-sister who was born after...
Yep, I remember that, yeah. So it starts doing this somewhat of a Mike Myers thing with Jamie.
The relative.
Yeah, the relative theme.
They're like, why not bring that into it because we got nothing else better to do.
Hi,
So,
Poetic Justice, how are you?
Hi, what's
she
up?
is the PJ.
So
you
we
know?
we don't have any better ideas. So let's throw in the fucking relative thing.
Yeah,
Sure,
exactly.
go for it. Do it. Print that.
Their father, Elias, left his original family and started a new one with another woman. I don't know how Jason found out about her existence, but he's able to locate her outside her...
He could feel it. I mean, the half-sister thing, that's straight a rip-off from Halloween.
It absolutely is. They didn't even care anymore.
No.
They're like, this is... everybody knows this is the same movie. So we're going to just throw in a relative.
Yeah, Mike Myers, yeah, Halloween.
Who gives a fuck? Like, it's a sister.
I know, right?
There we go.
Job at Joey B's diner. But before he can
Joey
reach her,
B.
the local deputy Josh is picked up by his girlfriend in the same parking lot. PJ overhears their...
Well, damn, she's frisky.
Jesus.
She ready. Go for it, man.
You just jump it.
Yeah.
Jump it now.
I know, right?
Yeah, you better quick because Voorhees is going to castrate you.
How are we doing? We're doing good.
Yeah,
How are
it's
you
a
doing?
very-
It's fine. Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it's Friday the 13th. I had no idea, and then I looked at the calendar. I'm like, holy shit. Okay.
The day before our Fuhrer's birthday.
Wow. Mein Fuhrer.
There you go.
Is he going to have his parade and tear up all the streets because he's such an ego?
I don't know.
Fucking
He's the Fifth
freak.
Reich. I mean...
This is unbelievable. What a
plans to
freak.
smash. So he smashes her head.
Ow! Ow!
Fascist
You ever
America.
smashed your fingers in the car?
Yes.
And they stuck? Oh my god, I've done that before.
That hurts if you pull it on a knuckle. Oh,
my god.
That hurts so bad.
Oh. Yeah, you tend to get careful after that.
True.
Inside the car door and kidnaps Josh to be the next carrier for Jason's soul. He performs the ritual at his old childhood home, using the cliche old puking black blood into a person's mouth method of soul transference. The result is what I call Josh Jason, or JJ for short.
JJ.
JJ. There you go. JJ.
JJ, because he can, Voorhees oozes black jism, and then it goes into a person's mouth, and they become him.
It's weird.
With a fresh new body, JJ breaks into Diana's house and tries to possess her, but she's ultimately saved by her daughter's ex-husband, Stephen Freeman. Yeah, we're really scraping the bottom roots of the Voorhees family tree here. Stephen and JJ struggle against each other. JJ manages to throw a steel honing rod through Diana's back, and Stephen evens the score by stabbing him with the fire poker, causing it...
Jesus.
That's violent.
That's just straight up murder.
Yeah, I toke. Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Him to stumble out the window. Diana's wound is fatal, and JJ disappears into the night, Michael Myers style. With Diana out of...
There you go, Michael Myers style. Dude, this is fucking Halloween.
They didn't fucking care. Just print the movie. What? Yeah. That last Halloween movie, throw in that shit, and just print this fucking thing. Jesus.
What did John Carpenter think?
We don't care anymore.
You ripping off John Carpenter, dude.
We don't need any motherfucking Voorhees movies anymore. This is stupid. We're sick of it. Kane Hodder's moving on. Kane Hodder wants to do a rom-com now.
Ew.
We're sick and tired of the Voorhees bullshit. Blow him apart in the beginning now. Greenlight it
Jason
now.
only had
Blow
two
him
living
apart.
relatives
He's
to
finished.
potentially transfer his soul into,
Gone.
and he wouldn't have to look far to find either of them.
Now we're gonna go to space.
Diana Kimball had two more relatives in her bloodline, her daughter Jessica and her infant granddaughter Stephanie. A day
Oh, great. There's more.
after killing Diana, JJ hears his boyfriend, Robert Campbell, break into the Voorhees house. So he traps him and takes over his body, hoping to use it to trick Jessica. I'll obviously be
That's
calling
really
this one
fucking
RJ.
gross and
When RJ finds
disgusting
Jessica...
shit.
Okay, we got Robert Jason
Robert
now.
Jason.
That's a nice name, actually.
RJ.
Robert Jason. I like that name.
Yeah, that's a fine name.
We could call him Bobby.
Bobby J.
Bobby.
Robert Bobby J.
There you go.
Robertson. Robert J. Bobby Jason Robertson.
Hey, Bobby.
Hey,
Yeah,
Robert
it's pretty
Bobby
funny because she's all
J-Boy.
like, what the heck, Robert, where have you been? And he just...
Why do you have blood all over your face, bro?
Robert, why do you have strawberry preserves all over your face?
What's up with you, Robert?
Were you just at a truck bus stop getting a breakfast that you have you have strawberry jam all over your face, Robert?
How dare you with the strawberry jam, Robert?
Robert, you have to go clean your face of the strawberry jam preserves.
Robert.
This is disgusting.
Robert.
You're unprofessional individual. You're in a movie. This is not professional to have strawberry jam all over your face. Can we get makeup in here, folks?
Roars at her. I don't know why Jason roars when he's in other bodies, when he never even utilizes vocal cords at all in his own body, but I'm not...
Yeah, that's true. Why does he roar when he's in other people's bodies? You know?
That's a good question. It's just part of the experience.
I think so.
Not gonna try to think too hard about it. Steven once again arrives to save the day, ramming his car into the possessed
Steven
RJ on the
saves
way
the
out,
day.
which is starting to become a trend on the Jason timeline. Not as much as the window breaking thing or the door smashing thing, but it is happening a lot. After coming back to life, RJ shows up at the police station. Surprisingly, he opens the door and walks inside rather than busting through it. Never mind. He easily disposes of the female cop and pins Jessica into the lockers to possess her with his snake tongue. The same way that weird couple from high school did during the passing period after Algebra 2. Thanks to a distraction from Sheriff Landis, Jessica gets a chance to escape, and aided by the sharpshooting of a handcuffed Steven, RJ is once again switched from on mode to sleep mode, which lasts for a solid 20 seconds, at which point he finds himself surrounded by cops. He bashes two of their heads together and scares
See, now this is like starting to look more like, what is that one movie?
What?
The things with the spheres going around.
Oh, shit. Fuck. Oh my god.
I know.
Phantasm.
Yeah, Phantasm.
Phantasm. Which is, oh my god, that's good stuff, actually.
That's true.
The first one's very good.
Phantasm is very good.
the third, allowing him to escape the police station and follow Jessica and Steven back to the diner, where he tears through some fat kid, goes all Gronkowski on a restaurant patron's head, goes all McDonald's fry cook on a restaurant worker's head.
See, that's fucking Terminator. The kitchen scene.
Yeah, you're right.
They stealing it all, man.
Well, at this point, they're just like, who cares?
Phantasm. Thank you, Eraserhead.
I said it.
Yeah, Phantasm.
I said it.
That's
head, and elbows the restaurant owner's mouth permanently shut, which honestly...
Ow, Jesus. Ow.
You're never opening your mouth again.
She looked like that one guy from the Preacher series.
Oh.
The guy whose face looks like a butthole.
Oh my god. Yeah.
You know?
Kinda deserved. That lady was annoying. He nearly gets to Jessica again, but this time she literally slips through his fingers when he's shot in the leg and absolutely skewered with this metal rod by this random badass waitress. Unfortunately for her, she suffers the same fate when he grabs her and pulls her through the same metal rod. Like the earlier moment against the locker.
That's fucking gross. No one needs that.
No, that I think comes from The Wrath of Khan.
Oh. But there's like literally it's a turd.
This whole movie is just freaking taking little parts from movies and stealing it. You know, it's like they all just got together watching movies one night. The writers of this and like just watched movies and just stole their ideas.
We're gonna throw that in
the
there.
script.
Why not throw that in there? Why not? Like, let's add the element of family members. Why not?
I really don't know if this is supposed to be an innuendo or not. It's well established that Jason wants to punish any expression of sexuality to the point that it's kind of become a running joke, so incorporating innuendos into his kills for comedic effect doesn't seem too far-fetched. However, this does seem to suck out the last of RJ's energy, and he collapses. At some point, he switches bodies again, taking over a police officer named Randy. I'll call him RJ2.
Randy Jason.
Oh my god.
You're Randy. You're just a Randy go.
See, he sees the Winnebago's rocking, so he's got to go kill everyone.
Yeah.
Again.
That's true.
It's required that he goes and kills everybody in the RV because it's rocking. Why? Because he's an incel.
That's true.
That is absolutely perpetually pissed off that he can't have that type of interactions.
That's true.
Because he's a freak. That's rough, ain't it?
He shows up at the Voorhees house, where he speaks for the first time in order to try to trick Jessica.
Free! Get the hell away from Red!
This is another perplexing decision. Was Jason not able to speak in his old body, or did he simply choose not to? If the latter is true, he really was playing the long game by staying silent for at least 23 years, saving his speech for when he needed it most. Whatever the case may be, this deception works, and Jessica attacks the sheriff, allowing RJ2 to get the baby. But before he can make any other moves,
he wanted to possess the baby, I bet.
To be having a whole new life.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What if he did have a whole new life and he was a good person?
Whoa.
Huh.
There might actually be a screenplay in that.
He's spoiled for a third time by Steven. This guy's becoming a bigger nuisance for Jason than Tommy Jarvis. The evil escapes Randy's body in the form of this slimy lizard creature, probably representing his soul, who possesses Diana's dead body, causing him to fully transform.
He went up her cooch.
Of course, the symbolism is always there.
Ew.
It's the same thing with the fucking Evil Dead scene. It's like, yeah, let's rape a woman with a tree. Like, what the fuck is this shit?
I know, right?
Form back into the main hockey mask wearing Jason that we all.
Wait, he went into the woman's cooch and then just became normal Jason. How the hell?
Reborn. He got reborn out of the woman's vagina. I am returned to Earth as a.
This is so fucking dumb.
A giant fetus boy.
Oh my god.
From hell.
Know and love. I don't know why he didn't do this earlier. There's no concrete lore to explain how this is physically possible other than this throwaway line.
In a Voorhees was he born. Through a void, may he be reborn.
But as I already discussed earlier, Jason and the Friday the 13th franchise as a whole is not about continuity and logic. It's something that's hard for me to come to terms with because my show, Horror History, is about continuity and logic.
Well, that's true, but I don't think you're going to get it from the Jason movies.
No, it's not meant to be like that.
No.
They are not linear for the most part.
The Halloween movies are pretty linear.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd say the Freddy movies are pretty linear.
When it comes to Freddy, I'm kind of dumb on it because I haven't really delved into most of those movies. I don't think.
Why?
I just haven't. I saw the first one and I just was not grabbed at all.
I guess so.
It just didn't. But it didn't interest me. The story.
Huh.
Even getting his old body back seems to be only half the battle. He does kill off the assassin, Duke, in a giant bear hug, but his new nemesis, Steven, gives him a taste of his own medicine by tackling him out a window. How does it feel, Jason? And they fight.
Yeah, more out of the window fucking scenes. Jesus.
Steven wins though. That one.
For a really long ass time, allowing Jessica to retrieve the magic dagger and magic stab Jason. We see Jason's life energy being sucked out of him into the sky, and it looks like the beams of energy get shot back down, like Jason's soul is being denied.
God is like, no, you're not coming into heaven, bro.
Completely rejected.
And I mean, you're too evil, and I understand why.
Had access from heaven, and a series of golem-like hands reach out from below and pull the Bane of Crystal Lake into the ground, finally banishing his soul to hell. Guess Jason's gonna be sending postcards from hell from now on. Only his cracked and eroded hockey mask remains, but even that is reclaimed by one of the demons from below. But this was no ordinary evil entity. Enter Frederick.
That was a very good ending because it told you exactly what they were doing next.
Freddy versus Jason. This is like what people been wanting. They need to put out a second one. You know, but here's the thing. Robert Englund's like, I'm old. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, he's old. He is. Like, give him a break. He's done Freddy forever. And
I know.
It's like, let him be.
He said he would be interested in doing the voice acting in a children's series again, though.
Oh, okay.
So, another Freddy, you know. Your favorite is Freddy versus Jason Poetic.
All right.
I like it too, man.
That's fine.
Kelly Rowland is really good in that movie, actually.
Yeah.
Krueger. Born in the early 1940s in Springwood, Ohio, Freddy was abused as a kid, learned to love pain as a teen, and kidnapped and killed kids as an adult, causing the Neighborhood Parents Association to get together and to light him up.
We found him in an old abandoned boiler room where he used to take his kids to gasoline.
That's the first movie.
Yeah.
By the way.
I agree with the parents. Fuck him.
Yeah, exactly.
He's an absolute
Put it all around the place and made a trail of it out the door.
But Freddy came back as a demon of dreams, and around 1975, he started to invade the nightmares of the kids whose parents ended his life 7 years earlier, using their fear to continue to fuel him in the afterlife. So, just like Jason...
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, get your crucifix.
Do you see how the culture's sick and fucking twisted, though?
I know.
That it makes you actually, like people say Freddy's like a positive thing. Like, you're sick.
I guess I am.
What the fuck is wrong with you? He's not positive
I
at all.
don't know.
He's a child murderer.
And Freddy had a disdain for kids and teenagers.
Asses.
That is my favorite Freddy one. That's the second one.
Okay.
I like the romance element in it between the main character, but let me tell you.
Okay.
The second Nightmare on Elm Street is very gay. Like, it's so gay. And I love it. So, happy Pride Month to my fellow, you know, queer people out there.
Yeah. That's right.
Yes, I feel like Jason is the perfect personification of a person that would be able to go against Freddy. He's a child, an innocent, a hurt, but will rip someone in half.
That's exactly...
That's a good one.
That's a very good way of putting it, but it's an appropriate matchup, yeah.
And every now and then he would reemerge and consume more of their souls. In 2001, Freddy was defeated by his daughter, Catherine Krueger, and the town developed a system to keep Krueger from coming back by prescribing a dream suppressant drug to anyone who mentioned the Springwood Slasher's name.
I love this movie. I think it was great. It's during the time, all those like movies that were like horror came out, like the Scream era, the Scary Movie era, God, I can't even remember all the names of so much stuff, but like, The Faculty, there's another one. It was in this era, like this like 98, like 2000 era where the horror movies, in my opinion, were really good.
In the summer of 2005, 4 years after Freddy's last action,
We do things around here a certain way for a reason. And that's given us 4 years of peace.
Freddy Krueger had a plan to spring back into action. Jason is trapped in a purgatory where Freddy creates the illusion of a skinny dipping girl. When Jason catches and machetes her, she shapeshifts into a series of others, each of them admitting to the crimes that they committed when they should have been washing campers at Crystal Lake. Freddy, most likely using the last reserves of his remaining power, takes the form of Jason's mother, Pamela Voorhees, and instructs him to wake up and go to Elm Street to strike fear into the kids now living there. This gets Jason...
That's so awesome of a storyline, though, if you think about it.
It's way better than anything they've made in any of the Jason movies.
That's true.
Charles
It's a
beat him
better
once more.
storyline than
He
any
climbs
of them.
out from the spot he was dragged under and begins his
Yeah.
journey to Elm Street.
So he's using pussy to put bait Jason.
Yep.
That's really interesting. But he's not interested. He's had so many opportunities to fuck so many
Yeah,
hot
but the
chicks.
thing is when he sees it, he thinks automatic kill.
Yeah,
So,
he does.
that way.
Kill
Yeah.
the pussy. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, it's all about just killing
Maybe
women.
he has a hate for his mother.
Why? She wasn't there for him.
Well, maybe she was evil to him like she was evil to the other kids.
Mm.
You know?
That's an angle.
I know. The apple
but
doesn't
see,
fall too far from the tree.
Being a writer myself,
Yeah.
I never like adding to story if it's not canon. If the author didn't have that in mind, we can't insert it in the story. It's not fair. Like, I don't like that.
That's true.
We got to use stuff that we know about him. So we know that he was bullied to death. Could he blame his mother for his death because of that? You're getting into the psychology of the character. We can't know that.
That's true.
That's why it comes to a point where you're just like, okay, it's a movie. We're going to let it be a movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why, especially with this series, you can't do there's a level of continuity. But then that level of continuity
Jason
goes away
arrives at
when you
1428.
enter the realm of Freddy versus Jason.
That's true.
This is not, there's no date on this. You can't place this in a timeline.
No.
Okay, they'll try, but they don't know. This could be 2022.
That's true.
I mean, you know? So.
Poetic Justice said maybe she was sexually active a lot and he saw her having sex with different dudes and neglecting him. I mean, she was single.
Once again, we would be inserting canon.
I mean, it's all speculation.
We
at
would
this
be
point.
inserting canon, and that I don't. As an author, that's not something you should do. You know, we take the character and dissect the facts that we know in the storyline. And the basic thing is, his mother was horrified that the counselors neglected him and let him drown.
There you go.
That's the bottom line. We know the story.
All right.
Everything else, you're just going to be throwing shit.
There you
You're
go.
not sure. Okay.
High school senior Lori Campbell. He sneaks into the back door and finds a pair of teens, Gib and Trey, using the upstairs bedroom. And when Gib hops in the shower, Jason shows Trey his own version of the downward thrust.
Jesus Christ.
Jason, you really need to get out of people's sex lives. Like,
I know.
seriously. You can cut that to the trolls.
I know. Go you.
But yeah, he needs to get out of people's sex lives. Like,
Yeah.
this is ridiculous at this point. Let people just make love.
Mhm.
Jesus.
That's why I think it is a logical thing to talk about the element of his mind with sex.
Mhm.
That is something logical to go to because he's always murdering people that are in the act.
Yeah,
So that is part of the character.
It's very weird.
It could be because they were doing that type of stuff when he was drowning.
That could be.
Like literally the last thing he saw was
And he just hates that action so much.
like a camp counselor dude
Yeah.
balls deep in a chick. That's the last thing he saw.
Shanny, that is. Jason doesn't realize it, but the older generation thinks that Freddy Krueger has returned.
Killed in bed? Jesus. It's even the same damn house.
Wild.
The cops are like, oh shit, this is happening again. I guess we gotta drug the kids some more.
Oh my god.
1428 now.
Thinking he's regained enough of his power, Freddy
Like, they were even drugging the kids in, Dream Warriors.
Yeah.
You know, and they were
Yeah.
doing it in this movie, Freddy vs. Jason, too.
That's true.
Is the drugging of the kids.
Yeah.
To cause them not to dream because of Freddy.
makes an attempt to kill Trey's best friend, Blake, but he hasn't yet regained enough strength, so he continues to let Jason do his thing.
He's like, damn, I can't do it. Not enough power.
So he does, decapitating Blake's dad and slicing through Blake himself. The next night, the teens of Springwood hold an
Why
Ohio
wouldn't he?
Skibbity Riz cornfield dance party. Well, it was an Ohio cornfield dance party, that much is true. Naturally, this was an epicenter for teenage degeneracy, which means Jason Voorhees was able to smell it from miles away and was drawn to the spot. Jason grabs some kind of pipe, and when an inebriated Gib walks away from the party, Freddy pulls her into one of his nightmare domains. But before he can finish the job in the dream world, Jason gets to her in the real world, impaling Gib and also this glow stick wearing loser who is
And Freddy's like, no, she was mine! And he gets mad at Jason for taking, her life when, he was going to do it.
All right. Well,
This is what causes the rift,
I guess so.
is Jason took more lives than Freddy.
Yeah, he's got a higher kill count.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Was trying to take advantage of her. And taking out the glow stick guy was kind of the third good deed that Jason's done now. I guess a broken clock really is right twice a day, or in this case 3 times. Jason yeets the rapey ravegoer into the corn and proceeds to cut down 7 more victims, effectively breaking up the party faster than the cops ever could. Speaking of the cops, one of them figures out who's behind the recent killings and joins 5 of the surviving teens to try to put a stop to it. Jason follows them to Weston Hills Psychiatric Hospital and busts down the door, squashing the security guard. He catches up with them in the hospital server room where he accidentally electrocutes himself with a missed machete strike. However, he's able to grab the cop, Stubbs, and slam him into the malfunctioning control panel. He throws Stubbs.
That was pretty great.
That dude is always like a tool in every movie. That blonde dude.
Yeah, I know. Which one is this?
This is Freddy versus Jason.
Freddy versus Jason. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a rave rape scene in that.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember.
I don't remember this one at all. Really.
I don't remember it either.
Stubbs through a window before coming after Lori, Will.
I've only watched it like 2 times.
And Kia. However, one of their classmates.
You mean Jason Mewes? The Jason Mewes. They couldn't get the real Jason Mewes.
Knockoff.
So they got the knockoff Jason Mewes. He is knockoff Jason Mewes.
You're right.
You know,
that's definitely correct.
Jason is really out there getting dirty. Freddy is a punk hiding in dreams. Ooh,
I agree.
Poetic justice slamming Freddy Krueger. You better watch out, Poetic. He might get you in your dreams tonight.
Yeah, I don't like the character.
Yeah, watch us have all dreams of Freddy Krueger. That'll be crazy.
Fuck that.
Mates Bill doesn't seem to be as afraid of Jason as he should be, and upon getting closer, he realizes that it's actually Freddy, who has the power to control dreamers by making them sleepwalk in the real world.
These are my children, Jason. Go back where you belong.
So, for the first time, Jason finds that he's not necessarily the main villain of his story. It's not the first time that there have been other evil characters, like the abusive doctor in New Blood, the murderous bully Tamara aboard the Lazarus in Jason Takes Manhattan, or the disciplinarian who went too far, Mr.
Asshole.
Ew.
I hate him. He's a bad man.
He's a disgusting sack of shit human being in everything he does.
I've been ready for his crispy ass. Oh, shit. Poetic justice, what is your superhero move in your dreams? I'm anointed by Christ. Oh, dude, Jesus power.
Yeah, that's right.
Jesus power, freaking Freddy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That should be written in a script.
I wish I had
but this is the first time that Jason is
real life Hadouken.
Yeah.
That would be
Hadouken!
I wish I could do that in real life. That's like my only wish.
That would be awesome.
That would be sick.
Right?
Yeah.
Really been asked to share the spotlight. The way it comes about is interesting, because at that point, Jason had soundly been defeated like never before, and finds himself trapped in the underworld of hell. But Freddy is the one to unleash him, hoping to use him to regain power, not realizing he would become a dangerous rival. This is a classic tale in the horror genre, the opening of Pandora's box. The obvious example is Hellraiser, which contains a literal Pandora's box, but it goes back...
Yeah, I mean, there would have to be one reference to Hellraiser, at least, probably, yeah.
There had to be a Hellraiser. I mean, he's a Deadite, so, like, and that's the king of the Deadites. It's Pinhead.
Okay. That's not what I get from the character at all.
Okay.
Much further.
He's a principality of hell. And if you want to say that, like, he's over the Deadites, I mean, maybe. They're called Cenobites.
Yeah.
The Hellraiser being.
That's true.
That's different.
Mythology. These stories typically involve curiosity as a catalyst for horror being unleashed. There's an interesting parallel in Freddy vs. Jason because the human characters have opened a box of their own. Those who have had their dreams crashed by Freddy Krueger have been relocated to the psych ward where they administer a dream suppressant medication for their own protection, and the protection of everyone in town. But by digging into what they see as some kind of sinister cover-up, they're actually opening themselves up to Freddy's return.
That guy is such a badass. He really hated Freddy, and he fought him to his bitter end, man.
Freddy's back.
Yeah, man.
That's fucking crazy.
They're opening Pandora's box. In the original Greek mythos, the box is said to contain all of the evils and misfortunes of the world, which would escape when opened, leaving only hope inside. The trope has evolved over the years, often conflating the evils in the box with demons and hell, making Jason's escape from hell to attack the one who set him free a literal interpretation of a classic story. Jason is in...
Maybe it's not a story, maybe there is actually a Pandora's box.
I think there is.
Called,
Ark of the Covenant?
I don't know.
No.
Acted with 2 syringes full of immobatine, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a tranquilizer that immobilizes you. Using the last of his time to cut Bill in half before passing out. But this doesn't matter much to Freddy, who can freely move from dream to dream. His next destination would be Jason himself. In Jason's dream, his mother scolds him for disobeying her, saying he was supposed to return home after killing a few teens. Eventually, he realizes that it's Freddy Krueger, using the form of his mother in the dreamscape. Jason cuts off both of Freddy's arms, but they grow back. The two...
Ta-da! He's like, this is my world, bitch.
Exactly. That's what he was thinking.
No, he did say that.
He says it?
Yeah, he does.
This is my world, bitch.
Who do battle, with Freddy taking advantage of his manipulation of dream physics to send Jason flying in a way that no one else really has before. Of course, Freddy infamously air humps Jason across the room and drops a water tank on him, but Jason just refuses to die like Freddy's usual victims. However, when he turns the tables by tossing Krueger into a pipe, it bursts open, creating a waterfall between the two. But Jason can't bring himself to cross it. Jason appears to have a crippling fear of water, but many have pointed out that this doesn't really make sense, because he's never been shown to have a fear of the aquatic before this. The first time
Well, yeah, he jumps out of the water a lot. but he never showed to have a fear of water.
No, he's born in water. Like that's his environment after he died.
Yeah.
Is water.
And Freddy is fire.
Oh man, that's pretty good.
I know.
The archetypes.
We saw Jason, he was jumping out from the bottom of the lake,
Whoa.
and at one point he walked across the floor of the Atlantic Ocean after voluntarily boarding and sinking a cruise ship. I think this is a case of Freddy's manipulation amplifying his existing fear of drowning from when he was a kid. In the real world, he's invincible. He doesn't need to worry about
But in the dreamscape, I guess
he can be
Jason's
vulnerable.
more like a child. So Freddy manipulates him.
In the physical realm, all he thinks is murder. When
Yeah.
he's in his dream world, he might be a baby.
That's quite possible.
He's vulnerable in his dream.
That's interesting.
I don't think he'd dream.
Huh.
I think this whole concept. Okay.
But in his
we got to the core of the matter.
Mm-hmm.
This
dreams,
is why
he
I
probably
thought
still thinks that he's
bitch.
Okay, sorry.
This is what, not you. I'm sorry. This goddamn earpiece. I'm done.
Okay.
Anyway, listen to me. That's why I thought this whole concept was flawed. Because you're assuming that Voorhees has a sleeping state. That's bullshit. He's
That's
undead.
True. That's true.
The undead don't dream.
No.
It's bullshit from the start.
mortal. For example, sometimes I have a dream where I'm still in school, even though I'm clearly not. But in the dream, I just accept it. Or I'll have dreams that include people that I haven't talked to in years, but I don't question it. So Jason thinks that he's mortal in the dream, and he has a reason to fear water again.
So you are afraid of something after all, huh?
Freddy makes it rain, which paralyzes Jason in fear, making him revert to the 11-year-old Jason who drowned in the lake. Freddy also taunts him with the decapitated head of his mother. Freddy wants to dig deeper into Jason's fears, so he digs into Jason's subconscious to get inside of another dream. This one involves Jason at a foggy lake, dragging victims to a cabin, kind of like the one where he made a shrine.
This is crazy.
Now
It's
see that.
trippy.
Now this is pretty interesting because they're going into like, okay, before Jason died.
Yeah.
What was in his mind before he died?
Yeah.
And it's this shit. Like he was thinking about murdering people.
Yeah,
and putting
he's
them-
always been evil.
He's always been a bad seed.
Yeah.
In 1984, but not quite the same. He then goes deeper still, to a dream about Jason's last day alive in 1957. But when the kids throw him into the lake, Freddy pulls him down further, trying to finish off his new rival once and for all.
That's straight up evil, yo.
In my world, bitch. Your machete don't do shit here, son.
As Freddy and Jason do battle in the dream world, Laurie, Kia, Will, and Charlie tie up Jason and load him into their van.
Oh god, that's so
Ew.
horrifyingly scary is knowing you have Jason in your freaking van. Drugged up. Just keep drugging him.
Planning to drive him home to Crystal Lake, thinking
Now,
he'll have
there's
no
another
reason to
flaw.
return to Springwood. But when
Shannon,
their injections of
how do you
Imoditine wear
drug
off,
an
Jason
undead
escapes his nightmare with
individual?
Krueger and springs to life, causing the van they're traveling in to crash somewhere near Crystal Lake. The kids take cover in a cabin. I guess not all the cabins were demolished. There were always multiple camps along the lake. When Jason finds them, he busts through the wall and knocks over a gas can and lantern.
Great.
I hate that.
You tell me how you drug an undead being. Another flaw. This is pathetic.
Hey, maybe it's some heavy ass drug.
No. You could shoot him.
Maybe it's you know, Special K.
You can't K-hole a dead man.
Alright.
He's dead.
Igniting a massive
is
fire.
all
He ends up getting his blade stuck in the table, so the kids get away, but he does get a pretty good lick in on Kia.
Ow. I'm sorry, Kelly.
That's really rough.
Charlie takes a shot too, which later proves to be fatal. Freddy Krueger is pulled out of the dream world by Laurie, and Jason is there, finally ready to fight his new
I know, she had good looking. She's pretty.
He was like, wow. Could I do that again?
rival on his own domain, reality. Cue the metal. It's Jason's strength versus Freddy's agility, but without the ability to
my God,
manipulate
you
the
got
environment,
metal
Jason is superior, and ends up throwing him across the camp through the roof of another cabin and has to search the area to find him again. When he does, he discovers Freddy in a verbal confrontation with Kia, who he sneaks up behind to shut her up.
Kia Forte.
They once more do
Well, that ended. Like, this is why pride cometh before the fall.
That was unreal.
I know, she freaking tempted freaking Freddy, and then Jason's like, shut up, this is my fight, bitch. I mean, come on now. Great.
hand-to-hand combat. Freddy launches gas canister torpedoes at him, showers him with building stakes, bludgeons him with a cement mixer, and rams him with a supply cart. But Jason's will to carry on is unrelenting. Their battle takes them to the dock, which Laurie sprays with gasoline, and using a torch from the nearby fire,
She's a badass.
Definitely.
Her name is Laurie.
Lori. That's a tribute, yeah.
That is a tribute.
Ends the whole area.
We have
up
to have
in
our own
flames.
badass
The
Lori.
distraction allows Jason to kill his opponent's armor just before the nearby propane tanks blow, sending both crashing into the lake in a fury of flame. Historically, the attack is significant for both of them, since Freddy originally lost his life in a hell of flames, and Jason lost his under the crystal clear waters of the lake. Freddy makes it back to the dock to get his revenge on the last two survivors, Laurie and Will. But Jason uses the last of his power to stick Freddy's own arm through him
Another
before
heroic
collapsing
move.
into the
Stuck his own arm through him.
But do you see how they are actually showing you if you're going to have a thing between Freddy and Voorhees, Voorhees is more of a good person.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think they're showing us that. Freddy was a
The
demon.
last Laurie sees of him are his
Horrible
eyes
person
closing
from the
before
start.
sinking down into the black water. But at some point, Jason rises again with Freddy's head in tow, though it could be argued that this was a dream.
He won.
For Freddy,
Or he
that was
won.
basically the end of the line, chronologically at least. But for Jason, as we know, dying in the real world doesn't have much consequence, and he would resurface a few short years later. In 2008, Jason was captured and executed again.
We executed him for the first time.
Oh, the worst movie ever, Jason X.
Oh my God, no. I never watched the whole film. You know what? I rented it from Hollywood Video, I remember.
Yeah.
I put it in the VCR. I watched 6 minutes.
The coolest part is when
The smashing of the face.
the smashing of the face and it shatters.
That's the only coolest part, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
In 2008.
Horrible.
This line confused me the
Horrible
first time that I
shit.
saw it, because as we know, Jason was blown up by the government for the first time in the early 2000s. So I think she means her facility executed him for the first time in 08. They tried several different methods to put him down, including electrocution, gas,
08.
firing squad again, hanging again. They eventually decided that they couldn't kill him, but the best they could do was contain him using cryogenic stasis and try to figure out what to do later. I would have maybe mixed him into a pool of cement, but I guess they
That's
had
a good
other
idea.
ideas. The cryostasis freezer was manufactured in 2010.
Probably a cryostasis unit. I'd guess early port series. KM?
Quadport 11. Manufactured in 2010. Precise historic records are inconsistent.
And it's
No one
likely
cares.
that this freezer was created just to contain Jason, so they created the freezer and plan to use it immediately. Jason is locked up and sedated, but before the cryostasis operation is carried out, there's some disagreement about what should be done with him. Certain parties are interested in studying his ability to regenerate damaged tissue.
Your internet, my internet, I think everyone's internet is fucked up today.
Yeah, it's not very good.
No.
I think it's probably sun flares. It's always got to the sun is just like, no.
Yeah.
You're going to have problems.
What if it's Nibiru? Could be Nibiru.
I mean, some of these videos that people got, it does look like they've captured two suns now.
Yes. it
Or
does.
some kind of body.
Something's in there in the sky. That's
It
not
could
the sun.
be. Hi, Maya.
Yeah.
What's up? It could be the binary sun. There's speculation that there is a second sun in our system, but it's got a huge elliptical orbit that
Yeah.
it's something like 150,000 years or something.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh my god.
What the hell is that?
Outdated drivers.
Fine, whatever, sea cleaner. Like, you're good, but don't do that.
Leave us alone.
We're fine. It very well could be the second sun, which is, they've speculated, it's a brown dwarf. So it wouldn't give light, I don't think.
That's
right?
nuts.
Brown dwarf stars don't give light.
No.
So that could be in our orbit now, and that would be a huge sign of something. I don't know. I don't know what it would be. Like, you'd have to talk. I would listen to somebody like a Zulu shaman on that, or a Hopi. Do they think the
Yeah.
Blue Kachina is going to happen now?
Possibly.
Like, are we there with that? I don't know.
Possibly.
There's a lot of shit that. Oh God, I want to talk to Sandale again. But I'm just going to like privately talk to him and record it, and then maybe release it.
There you go.
You know. I don't want
Those who are paying attention at home will notice that this is a new ability Jason has gained since coming back from hell. Before, we saw his injuries build up, and his original body deteriorated from 1979 to 1998. But during the argument about a potential Jason relocation, the man himself somehow got out of the chains and locked up the security guard in his place. He comes out of the dark and assaults the mercenaries, using what I believe is one of those leash poles as both a bat and a throwing spear, and throwing one other guy through a door. He leaves at least 8 victims, and the last employee is a woman named Rowan LaFontaine, the project leader. She runs down to the cryogenic freeze chamber that they were initially planning on freezing him with. When Jason follows her down a level, he sees the chamber door open and he investigates, thinking she's hidden in there. But when he gets close...
This movie is so shitty.
Do you know where this came from?
Bless you.
Thanks.
Alien?
No. Idiots.
Yeah.
That were in the theater, okay, in Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah.
And they're going, oh, you know what would be really cool next? If we have a Jason in space movie.
That's true.
It's those morons that made this dog shit happen.
That's true.
Unforgivable, I think.
Stupid.
It's a
she bombards him with a shotgun and shoots some kind of explosive tank to blast him. I still stand by my Jason is not stupid thesis though. Of course he's not going to know what a cryogenic freeze chamber is. The dude was born in the 1940s and spent the last 3 decades either dead, trapped, or scavenging in the woods. He wouldn't have any understanding of technology. Despite her trap working, Rowan isn't expecting just how strong he is. He penetrates her through the door of the chamber, causing the computer to send the surrounding room into emergency lockdown. Likely a countermeasure programmed in just for Jason. Unfortunately for Rowan, this means that she's getting frozen with him, and nobody ever comes to check on this. I guess she was the last employee who knew about this project and had no family, or whoever did know just didn't care. So the two stayed there, literally frozen in time. In 2024, the sport of hockey was outlawed.
It's a hockey mask. Very good, Center Run.
What's
2024 hockey was outlawed? I guess for Jason's sake.
That's dumb.
I guess.
See how... Who wrote this?
I know.
I have to look.
I know she's a robot. She's an android.
Do you know that I know for a fact?
What?
I could go out there with Solus, not even paying for Plus,
Yeah.
I could create a better sci-fi Jason story than this in, give me 3 hours?
Yeah, I bet.
3 hours, not even 3 hours. Less than
It's a hockey mask. Facial
This
armor.
is pathetic.
Used in a sport
This
outlawed in
shouldn't
2024.
So, congratulations, Panthers fans. Guess you guys got the last one. Over the next several centuries, the Earth became uninhabitable due to pollution and extreme weather, to the point that the oceans and soil could no longer sustain life. At some point, a moon colony is established and abandoned. In the 2350s, the science of human reanimation entered its early stages, laying the groundwork for what would happen about 100 years later, when a college class of explorers would discover Jason's cryo unit.
And then he killed all of them. The end.
Whoa. What a beautiful fucking storyline. Could we? Wow.
I think.
Could you guys do a little better than that? Maybe just a little bit better.
I just.
Like just a little better.
The movie's terrible.
Yes, it is.
And I think I'm just gonna leave the stream here. Because
do we want
this
to?
is not
Maybe
even...
we could go to a summation because he's probably going to have a conclusion summation.
Okay.
That would be nice to hear. Sum it all up. I have a sum up too.
Most requested topics over the last few years. And I guess it took this long because the whole point is to analyze the character, but that's not easy to do with a character like Jason, who doesn't have much character at all. He's more of a vehicle to tell other stories. The franchise has had 11 different directors, all trying to impose their own ideas. Friday the 13th is a simple story about taking responsibility and revenge, as Pamela gets back at the irresponsible counselors who allowed her boy to die. Part 2 is about urban legends and survival, as it's discovered that the stories about Camp Crystal Lake's jinx may actually be true. Part 3 is a story of shame and coping with low self-esteem, as Jason takes the iconic mask from Shelly, who similarly is outcast from his friend group. Part 4 highlights the strength of family, with Tommy and Trish Jarvis sticking together to overcome certain.
No, you're not hidden, JR.
No, you're not.
Death and Robert
okay.
out to avenge
See, I'm really glad we did
A New
this.
Beginning doesn't have Jason in it, but it's about trauma in life after tragedy. Jason Lives is about the concept that history cannot be changed or erased, reflected in the contrast between the many attempts to erase the past and the enduring legacy of Jason Voorhees. New Blood is about metaphorical rebirth, with both Tina and Jason trying to harness their old powers to overcome one another. Jason Takes Manhattan is about finding one's way in the world, highlighting the stories of high school characters who break away from the expectations sent by their parents or guardians throughout the story. Jason Goes to Hell, I guess, is about how evil comes in many forms, including a boyfriend who is using Jessica for fame, and Jessica having to lean on someone who truly cares about her in order to survive. Freddy vs. Jason is a classic Pandora's box story, where Freddy tries to use Jason to regain power, not realizing what he's let loose, while the human characters try to fight the system in their town, only to realize that the system was keeping them safe all along. Jason X uses Jason as a vehicle for a classic science fiction story that's still relevant today. As Dr. Ian Malcolm put it in Jurassic Park, scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if
they should.
Exactly, Ian Malcolm, exactly.
That's a brilliant man. But see, also, we had Einstein who said it in real life.
Yeah.
Just because you can do it doesn't mean you fucking should.
There you go.
There are 11 unique stories here, and Jason tends to be among the least interesting character in each of them. Sure,
No,
we
we
get
ain't
bits
mad
of
at
lore
you,
here and
Seymour.
there, and
They
there
are.
is an overall message about a boy whose low self-esteem turned him into a serial killer, and a message about controlling your vices.
Oh my god, wait a minute. Was it his low self-esteem?
But he mostly
think it was
remains a
the
blank
fact that he
slate,
was
more of a
neglected
stage
and
for the
basically
individual ideas
murdered.
that I just listed to stand on. So as a character, no, I don't think he's very interesting. But I think there's a reason that Jason Lives is generally seen as the most beloved entry in the franchise. Because Jason Lives understands that Jason Voorhees isn't the paint, he's the canvas. A cyclical horror that comes around every some odd years. A force that cannot be buried no matter how much you try to move past him. Like the pseudo-holiday Friday the 13th, superstition and urban legends are a part of human nature. And no amount of changing the signs and altering the names are going to change what happens when the mask goes on, the machete comes out, and the sun sets on Crystal Lake. And on that note, why don't we tally up the kills?
Okay, tally it up. Kill count.
Jason Voorhees broke 35 windows during his movies, averaging out to a broken
35 windows broken.
window every 28.85 minutes. I'll give the window pane of pain for coolest window break to Friday the 13th Part 2 for the classic jump scare that first introduced us to maskless Jason. And I'll give the sugar glass shard for lamest break to the shower shattering from Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, which doesn't feel very destructive in comparison to his other work.
Ow. Later, guys. It's wife time. Understandable.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're leaving too.
Make sure you remember to subscribe to Easy's
that.
World.
Well, okay,
Alright.
that was interesting.
That was the most interesting.
The sum up was real good.
Yeah.
That was good.
It was.
All right.
Well, happy Friday the 13th, guys. Thank you, everyone who joined. I'll see you tomorrow.
And happy Armageddon Day.
Yay!
Piece of Maranatha.
Bye, guys.
You need Jesus now.
These are babies. You see them? They're the best babies I've ever seen in my whole entire life. I love them so much.